Hey there, you're listening to You Still Going On About That with Rob Israel and Joseph K. You can find us anywhere you could download podcasts. You could also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at YSGOAT. Thanks for listening. I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
You still going on about?
That.
All right, Joseph. It is June.
Yeah. We're almost halfway through the year. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on anymore.
Yeah. I was around our house. We were having kind of like an existential crisis, simply being that we had all these plans for the year and the year's half over, you know?
Would you say
And
you'd have what plan?
like an existential crisis. We had all these plans for the year and the year's half over. It still feels like January in my head. But no, it's June. The year's half over, or will be in like, I don't know, 3 weeks.
Well, my year's weird. I'm not gonna talk about it.
Yeah, yeah,
You hear enough of me about
yeah.
it.
Well, it is. It's been a weird
Yeah,
year.
Joseph here is about it in there. Private YSGOAT. That's right.
Right.
You gotta be a special member of the YSGOAT family in that. It's
Get on the Discord server.
yeah. For $10,000, you can listen in on this conversation between me and Joseph.
Oh, right.
$10,000. Not no hand stuff included. Sorry. Sorry,
Right.
Joseph.
Yes. Yeah.
Lauren Boebert got a little
Oh.
something like Lauren Boebert is like Batman. So like I just saw an article said that the
Yeah.
Beetlejuice play is being resurrected. Of course, Lauren Boebert thought it said erection. She got a little too
Right.
excited. But you know how like Batman has like the bat signal?
Yeah.
The Beetlejuice play being announced, having a revival. What is in the air that Lauren Boebert would see? Like, would it be like a hand jack, like a
Yeah, I think
fist,
so.
like Jack, like holding a hot dog, like in the clouds? It's
Right.
like the end of Batman. It was the first Batman when Commissioner Gordon. They're like, "How are we gonna reach him? He gave us a signal." And then like, "How are we gonna reach Lauren Boebert? She gave us a signal." And it's just like
Yeah.
the bat light, but I don't
It's
know.
like the little hamburger helper hand.
D
With an ashamed look on his face.
DSLs on his, you know what that is, right?
Yeah.
DSL
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the hamburger helper's face.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Hamburger helper isn't selling like it used to. Gotta make money somehow.
Yeah. Right.
So if hamburger helper is sucking your dick, is that a hand job? Oh man,
That's
I'm writing that down. That's gold.
they call that. Yeah.
I'm writing it down. See, I'm a professional comedian now. And
Give that
hold on,
the
I gotta get my
ground.
book. I really have to write this down. This is so stupid.
Yeah. Well, hamburger helper. I don't. Do they? I'm sure they still make hamburger helper, right? I mean, I would imagine hamburger helper. Yeah, I'm getting an update on hamburger helper. Yeah, it's still in production. Um, they still use the hand as the uh as the logo here. Oh, this is good.
What?
Okay, so one flavor of hamburger helper is beef stroganoff, which reminds me of my favorite joke of all time. What do you call a hundred cows in a field masturbating? Beef stroganoff. Beef stroganoff.
Hold on. If you get a blowjob from the hamburger. I'm reading like I'm like seven. If you get a blowjob from the hamburger helper,
Yeah,
is that also considered a hand job?
yeah. Hamburger. Okay.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah,
Inquiring
yeah.
minds want to know. This is fucking gold. One person might giggle.
Yeah. Well, if you can work in Stroganoff too, that's always good, I think.
All right. There we go. What is Lauren Bobert's
Favorite flavor of
Bobert's
hamburger help?
favorite? Lauren Bobert's favorite hamburger. Oh, for flavor. I don't know.
It is Stroganoff. It's Stroganoff.
Flavor beef. Stupid. I gotta fucking get a Netflix special out of this.
All right.
Did you see that thing I sent you?
Which one?
For some reason I got like a targeted ad sent to me or whatever on my Instagram.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And it was from like this American freedom or some
Right.
bullshit right-wing garbage. And it was like Lauren Boebert's fucking chipmunk face.
Yep.
And it said like, let's thank Lauren Boebert for tax cuts or whatever. And I left a comment and said that Lauren Boebert will always lend a hand to beat off the tax man. Did I ever tell you? Okay, so there's like this Archie comic from like I think the 50s or 60s,
Yeah,
and it's one of the expensive ones because it's one of these double entendres,
sure.
and it's Archie holding Betty like he's
Okay.
there. They're in the beach, and there's three guys in the water, and all like they got bruises on their faces, and he goes,
Right.
"I had to beat off three guys." I forgot what it was, the full sentence, but he said I had to beat off three guys. Dude, I always like, people are like, oh, it's innocent times. I'm like, no, the people making it knew what they were fucking doing.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
did. They knew. Come on, they knew. There's another Archie, which is insane. It's from like the 80s. It's
Uh-huh.
Archie, and he has his arms around Betty and Veronica. So he's
Okay.
fucking them both, you know?
It sounds full, yeah.
These people are in high school. Just remember that. It's
Right.
fucking creepy. And he says, like, there's a line. And then he's like, I'm gonna be in the pink today.
Oh, jeez.
I'm like, I gotta get this one. This is
That's funny.
fucking funny. Like he's like, this is like the 80s. I was like, he's like, I'm gonna like I beat up three guys that's funny.
Yeah.
But the other
Yeah.
one's like fucking lewd. Like how is
Right.
like wait, let me see. I want to make sure I'm getting it right. Archie comic where he says he's gonna be the pink tonight.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it. Oh, here we go. Archie, it's issue 511. It's from 2001, actually. Wow.
Wow. So that's
All
that
right,
is.
he has his so he's in the middle. Benny and Veronica on both sides. They have their hands like kind of going his arms, and he goes, "My horoscope predicted I'd be in the pink today." Like what? Like Betty's wearing pink. I guess Veronica's wearing like a red or pink. But I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, how did they get away with that?
I googled the Archie beat off cover, and that's an old one because the cover price is like 12 cents.
Yeah.
So from 1968 it says.
Oh, that's not that old.
Yeah, it's not that old. Yeah.
Archie beat off cover. You gotta be careful how you.
If you just type in Archie
Yeah, I
beat,
got it right here.
like
Archie, did you have any trouble rescuing me? I sure did, Betty. I had to beat off three other guys. His like my hands are cramping.
Right. All right.
Oh yeah, what are we talking about this week, Joseph? Besides Lauren Boebert and Archie beating off people.
Talk about several shows that we've been watching or have just watched. We were talking about the latest episode of Murderbot. We're talking about Sinners. You saw the movie Sinners.
Yeah, we saw it.
We're gonna talk about the Pee Wee show that's on HBO Max.
The what
Then we're
show?
the Pee Wee Herman. I think it's called
The
Pee
Pee
Wee.
Wee Herman documentary. It was like two.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think it's called Pee Wee as himself. I think it's the
Yeah.
actual name of it. Then we're talking about political stuff. We're talking about the Ukraine drone strike in Russia. We're talking about Elon Musk looking all ketamined out and now all angry at Trump. We're talking about a series of dipshits that Trump hired. Talking about the new FEMA chief, RFK, and then we're going to finish up by talking about Joni Ernst, who gave some interesting perspective on the GOP death cult.
Kind of did a similar thing to what's his face? Patrick, whatever his name from Texas, that guy, that piece of
Oh
shit.
yeah, yeah.
Who basically said that people should sacrifice grandma during COVID.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I guess they call it the saying the quiet part out loud. Um, but yeah, we'll do that. So but we're first going to talk about a sad thing, a real life thing that's also kind of pop culture.
Oh, well,
The
before that too, we're also going to talk about a fake news conference or whatever,
oh
with
yeah,
press hearing that the Trump's press secretary gave to literal just like right wing grifters.
yeah, yeah. That
Okay.
is.
What were you gonna say? Sorry.
But we're going to start by talking about a sad thing. The what is the guy's name? Is it John Joss? What is the guy's name that
The
was?
actor? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up. But the guy who played was the character Cheap John Redcorn or something
Yes. Yeah.
from King of the Hill. But this guy's done other stuff. I remember he was like a recurring character on Parks and Rec. Um,
Yes.
I mean, I didn't know he know the guy's career. I remember him being on Parks and Rec, and it's crazy. Okay, so he got killed. He was murdered. He was
Yeah.
59. Um, what is? I
He,
mean, it's considered a hate crime, right?
yeah,
Jonathan Joss is the name of the guy who was
right.
killed.
John Joss or Jonathan Joss. Um, he was shot and killed by a former neighbor. And from what I understand, they originally thought it was a hate crime, and now they think it was just like a murder. I mean, not that that makes any less, but I think the guy
Well, they
knew
said
him.
he yelled a homophobic thing or something.
Yeah, but I think, and again, I am, let's see, Joss, husband, burned down house, Justin, neighbor. It could be. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think that they are, let me see here, violent homophobic acts.
Because
Yeah, I think,
the actor was gay and he was married to a
right.
man, just to be clear.
I think, I think that, um, I don't know. I think that right now they're saying it's not a hate crime. And I think their theory is that this guy just hated his neighbor and also was a bigot. Not necessarily like a hate crime is
But he
more
killed
like,
him. Isn't a hate
yeah,
crime like
no,
violent?
like,
Like
well, look, I'm not an attorney, but the way I understand it is if the only thing I got against you is that you're, gay or trans or black or whatever, and I kill you because of that, that's a hate crime. But if I hate you because you stole my parking spot or because,
don't ever do that.
you did something really shitty, and then I kill you, and while I'm doing it, I yell, homophobic remarks or whatever. That's not necessarily a hate crime because you did it for like this other reason.
That's so
Like,
stupid.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think ultimately the thing is like a hate crime usually gets an accelerated sentence because it affects more people than the person just killed. Like
Yeah.
if someone is killed just because they're gay, then that's a crime against like all gay people
Like that
because
Dylan Roof. That was straight up a
right.
hate.
That's straight up a hate crime.
I mean,
But like,
he intended his whole reason for doing it was to kill black
yes.
people.
But with this, I think the theory is John Joss's neighbor isn't going to start killing people. It's not like he was going to start killing all gay people. He just really hated this one particular gay person, and he was kind of shitty as he was doing it. But he, like the average gay person living in the next town over, wouldn't look at that and say that could have been me because he wasn't that guy's neighbor and beefing with him. You know what I mean? Like it makes sense to me, I guess. But it is a weird thing because the guy who played John Redcorn prior to this was a guy named Victor Aaron, and he was killed in a car accident.
I'm sorry, but the third person to play that guy is doomed.
Right.
That
Yeah. I mean,
that part is cursed at this point. I know that sounds fucked up, but I mean the first guy was killed. I think,
yep.
yeah, like a while ago.
Right. Yeah. The first guy, geez, he was in King of the Hill 19. He must have been killed before the show aired because he was on King of the Hill in the 1997 series. He only did 2 episodes, and both aired after he was killed in 96. So the first guy never got to hear himself on King of the Hill because he had passed away before
The other
the
guy was
episode.
basically the voice since
Yes.
he's always been the voice. So it's
Yeah.
really
I didn't realize there were two voices
it's like
until,
Meg on Family Guy.
oh,
So the
okay.
first season, Meg is voiced by that girl from
Mila,
Party of
yeah.
Five. From Party of Five.
Oh.
She's been in a ton of other stuff, but she was like
Oh,
the not the youngest, but like the second youngest.
right.
You've seen her in a lot of things. She was
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Girls and stuff. I forgot the name of the actress. She was the voice of Meg in the first season, and then I don't know what happened, but then Mila Kunis ended up being the voice. And to be clear, though, Mila Kunis is much better job with the character. But
Yeah. That's funny because I did not know that either, that there was a voice prior
little known
to.
fact too, Homer Simpson, the first couple episodes was voiced by Harvey Firestein. Oh, Marge. Oh, Homer. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
Homer.
that is weird.
That's how bad of a job he did. He's referring to himself as I'm Homer. Where's the boy?
Yeah.
Oh, Bart. You've been misbehaving. You've been a
That's
bad
funny.
boy.
That's funny. It was
Beer.
it's Lacey Chabert
Yeah.
was the voice, and she is around the holiday season, she does at least like 7 or 8 movies,
Oh,
Hallmark
like
movies.
oh yeah, she's like lives in Christmas Town or some shit.
Yeah,
Talking about
yeah.
yeah, I think she's has a
Um I'm just looking here like at her IMDb. She did in 2023 alone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Christmas movies
hey man, it's a
for
racket.
Hallmark.
You
That
know,
is a lot of Christmas
that probably
cash.
pays for the whole year. But
Yeah,
Mike, I don't know how long those movies take to make.
I would imagine they take about 90 minutes. No,
She doesn't even memorize the lines.
no.
No, it's one script. Here's one script. Just
They just
literally
swap it
gonna be
out.
it.
Yeah.
And don't worry, it'll be different in each movie, but you are literally reading one script.
Right. Yeah. There's a woman on TikTok that does like Hallmark movies, and she's really good. I think her name is like Nicole Dubois or something. And anyway, like they're all like perfect, pitch perfect Hallmark ones. She's like, Jeffrey from Small Town High School. It's like,
Yeah, it's always some woman coming
yeah,
back from the city and
yeah,
this fucking loser in town who's good looking,
yeah.
never left town,
They start a
set a
bakery.
barn or something, and yeah,
Yeah.
and the town is called Christmas.
Yep. They own a Christmas tree farm or a
Yep,
bakery or
like
something to
Taylor
that
Swift on a
effect.
Christmas tree farm.
Yeah.
Hey, what's the whitest fucking thing that someone can own?
Yeah, Christmas
Christmas
tree
tree
farm.
farm.
Yeah. That's got to be like a tough way to make a living because like a Christmas tree takes a while to grow, right? Like they don't just
I
grow
know.
7, 8 feet in a year,
I'm
right?
not Christian. I don't know how. I don't have the. I don't know how you Christians work. I know these aren't
No.
normal trees.
Well, anyway, this guy died, John Joss.
Well,
Um
he was
what
killed.
is the Martian Manhunter's name?
John Jones.
Is it John Jones? Yeah, this is real close. Um he died and they're rebooting the King of the Hill
I mean, he
series,
probably recorded all his lines already for the for the season. Yeah, it's
which
coming back
is
in August.
weird. He probably did, which means both the first John Redcorn voiced his parts from Beyond the Grave, and now this John Redcorn will also be voicing part of his work from Beyond the Grave.
Let's just
Which,
say this: if somebody's like, I don't know if they're already have season 2 in the can. Usually when they make these shows,
Yeah.
they usually get, it depends. Normally on network TV, like if your show doesn't, they'll renew you 2 years for animated series, like The
Yeah.
Simpsons,
Yeah.
Family Guy, like for example, Cleveland got canceled, but it still had 2 seasons left, even though it
Right.
was
Right.
already known that like they're not doing anymore. So it was like kind of weird, but like that's how these should, because they take so much longer to make. And so who knows if there's a second season? He could have recorded that already. But let me tell you, if I was an actor, voice actor, and someone was like, "Hey, you, you went to the voice of John Redcorn,"
Right.
I'd be like,
Fuck no.
"Fuck, hell no, no
Yeah.
way, not no."
Yeah. No, that sounds.
Unless you have a death wish. And I mean, I know, like, I'm not trying to like play down. It's absolutely awful what happened to the guy. Supposedly he crashed a panel or something. Like there was a King of the Hill
He
panel.
it looked like he had a pretty turbulent life, from what I can tell. Um, uh, just on his Wikipedia page, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Let's see, the early life. He was born in San Antonio. His first career appearance was on an episode of Walker, Texas Ranger.
Walker says I
Um,
have AIDS.
on January 20, yeah.
You remember
Yeah, right.
that?
Um, yeah. I don't know. It just looked like there's a lot of turbulent uh stuff in his life. But yeah,
What was
he
he, an
did.
airplane?
That's weird. Before his death in June 2025, Joss returned for the King of the Hill revival series and had begun recording. On June 1st, just hours before his death, he uploaded an Instagram video of himself walking around Austin and noting how he already recorded lines for 4 King of the Hill episodes. So, which is weird. I wouldn't. He
Well,
wasn't
he
like a.
wasn't like a main character. He
Yeah,
wasn't every episode. So
yeah,
the character though, Bobby's friend, who's Dale's son, but also really John Redcorn's son.
right, yeah,
That's like the ongoing joke on the show, is that Dale's wife's been having like an
a
affair.
long affair with, yeah,
I think it dates back even before Dale or something. And
yeah,
right from the first episode, you see the kid and you're like,
right, yeah,
"Ah, son." But and Dale's all like into conspiracies and shit. But I posted a picture of him, Dale, and John Redcorn and thing, and it said this kid lost both his dads. A little
yeah,
sad face. I know that's ridiculous because it's a cartoon and two people actually did die, but man, that
yeah,
shows. I was talking to my son about this. This show's like, I feel like the show's cursed a little bit. You had
yeah. It's like the new
Bo
news
played Lil
radio.
Wayne, Brittany Murphy.
Yeah,
Well, news radio, the only, well, Phil Hartman was killed and Joe Rogan became a fascist and Andy Dick became,
Andy Dick.
well, Andy Dick was already Andy Dick when the show started. I think Andy Dick would have still been Andy Dick,
Yeah,
regardless
true.
or not. If anything, news radio just helped him be Andy Dick more by giving him more money to spend on
Yeah, that's a good point.
cocaine. But nah, man, yeah, the Brittany Murphy, Luann,
Yep. Yeah.
Dale. This one, there's a couple other deaths too. I mean, some of them are
Yeah,
like
that's weird.
clearly, the show came out in the 90s. It's already like 30 years later. And
True.
of
Yeah,
course,
that
it's
is
gonna be
true.
people that are dead or actors and actresses. But I don't know, man. That show's cursed a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just looking at here like
Like
Tom
judges
Petty.
killing them all. What?
Also, Tom Petty also dead.
Who did Tom?
Uh
Oh, that's right. Tom Petty, I think, played
Lucky.
Luann's like boyfriend who becomes her husband.
Yeah. Luann's boyfriend and later husband, voiced by Tom Petty, also dead. Um, yeah. That is weird.
I don't know if I can handle Toll Bobby.
How'd the first Gribble die?
Gribble
Uh
died too?
Face up in his bathtub.
Who?
The first Dale Gribble?
Oh, I thought Stephen Root was. So it wasn't Stephen Root the entire time?
No,
They put him.
Gribble. No, your Stephen Root is Bill.
Oh, Bill. So there
Yeah.
was a Dale Gribble and then another Dale Gribble.
Yes, the first Dale Gribble was John Michael Hardwick.
Oh, I think.
And
Okay, so he died. No, the new Dale
oh,
is
the new Dale is a new,
actual.
yes.
But you've
Right.
seen this guy. He's been in tons of stuff. He was like in Carnival. He's been in a ton of shows. This is like a recurring actor. He's that guy's great. The one that got to play Dale for the new series because I think the guy was only able to record a couple episodes and then he died.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. This guy, the guy, the first Gribble was found dead face up in the bathtub in his
Jeez.
home, 64 years old. Moderate decomposition of his body left the cause and manner of death unable to be established. Uh, but the examiner noted that his death appeared to be relatively sudden, that drowning was unlikely, and there was no obvious signs of trauma.
So he had like what a heart attack or something, and then
Yeah, it
rolled
sounds
over
it.
and then rolled over in the tub or something.
Well, he said he was face up in the tub. I
Oh,
don't know. I mean,
face up.
like, I could see worse ways to go than in your tub. You know, I mean, like,
I mean, at the end of the day, you're
yeah.
dead.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's not like, yeah. Huh.
Ew.
Mm, I'm just sad. It's gonna be a sad show.
Yeah. Well, Bobber, Dad, what's everybody's dead, Dad?
Fuck, the
Oh, I
new
told you not to bring the show back, Bobber.
King of the Hill reboot's basically a snuff film. It's like
Oh, there will only be one in the end. I will be the king of the hill, Bobby.
it is, yeah. It's like
Like the fucking
oh,
Highlander.
oh.
I am immortal. There could be
Well,
there could be only one propane salesman
I
in
will
Dallas,
watch.
Texas.
I will watch the reboot. Mike Judge is great. I mean, like all of this stuff has been pretty good.
You never
Uh,
watched Silicon Valley. That was like I always try to get you to watch it for some
yeah,
used to.
that I probably will one day. I mean, like
I
I
bet it's not, you know what? I feel like at this point it's not even worth
not even
watching.
worth it. Yeah,
I think so. I bet you it aged like fucking milk.
yeah. I don't know.
Half the actors were all like fucking sex pests on that show.
Jeez.
Like the topics are like out of date.
I do think every once in a while I'll watch a show, a well-regarded show later, and it just doesn't hold up, for whatever reason.
I'd say it's
Um,
worth watching. It is really good. It has a little bit of entourage effect, but not
okay.
kind of annoying.
Yeah.
And I could see people thinking like, oh, it's got a little bit of Big Bang Theory, but it's not like
Sure.
it's not like a cheesy soundtrack. I mean, a laugh track. I think we
Yeah.
talked about that. You ever see Big Bang Theory? There's like a clip going around
Yes. Yeah.
where like the laugh track is removed, and then you like realize as you're watching it that all the actors like pause like 10 seconds between
Oh yeah. That's
each time
true
they
with
talk.
all these like laugh track. They wait on their lines, and it's very it's very odd. I think that's why like when I first started watching shows that didn't have a laugh track, it was very like new to me, like real different. Um,
Better acting.
it's just better across the board because like shows with laugh tracks are just weird. I mean, they're very performative and anyway,
When they're around today, you're just like, why are you still doing this?
yeah.
Like I remember Netflix started doing like shows and they had sitcoms, a couple of sitcoms, and they had like this one about weed with Kathy Bates as it was
Oh
terrible.
yeah, I remember that.
And
Yeah,
they had like a laugh track, and I was like, why? You're a
yeah,
streaming service. What are you doing? You don't need to have a laugh track show. Like nothing will ever beat the Married with Children laugh track though.
yeah,
Oh my God, the audience would be like,
yeah. They're
like, yeah, fucking, it was like Morton Downey Jr. in the audience.
yeah, yeah. They
All
were.
right.
All right.
Well, I mean, I look forward to seeing King of the Hill. Um, I don't know. All right,
Yeah.
Murderbot.
Yes. I watched the latest episode. I liked it a whole bunch. I do feel like this one, I know you said this about the show last week. I feel like it didn't really advance the plot much. You did get a clue as to the back thing. They wanted to make Murderbot himself kill people and kind of be the setup as the fall guy. Again, it just seems like an evil corporation typical plot. But the interesting thing was that Murderbot himself did continue to evolve. He found out more about the people and that he kind of liked them and maybe respected them. It was good. I liked watching it. It seemed like it was a 10-minute episode. in that it was quick and fast moving, but didn't really go anywhere. What did you think?
Um, Man, it was good. I like when the ship crashed down on the robot.
That was funny. Yeah. This,
Um, there was something else that happened. I don't know. I mean, the show's good. I enjoy it. I just don't think I wish they just dropped them all at once. I could see
yes.
myself like honestly, if I like, wasn't going anywhere that day, I could just kill that show in like 3 hours.
Yeah. The thing, the fact that it's not going, I wonder if that's a function of it being week by week, because
I
if
think it
it's a,
is. I think it's
yeah.
just, I don't think, I feel like it's, I mean, it's a good show, but it kind of, I don't know. I do like, again, the show within the show because, like,
Oh, that's really
that he,
funny.
yeah, because it's got like notable actors in the show,
Yeah.
within the show. Like,
The
one,
Kenneth the Page is in it. Kenneth,
the guy, wait, who's that?
you
Oh,
remember?
yeah, yeah, Kenneth the Page, 30
Yeah.
Rock,
Yeah.
Coulson from freaking
Yep.
Shield and Avengers. Yeah, I mean, these guys have actual other cool stuff they do.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
Um, the dude from, well, he wasn't Cowboy Bebop, but he,
Yeah. John.
John Woo, I think, or no,
Cho. Is it Cho?
John
John
Cho.
Cho.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was Sulu in the new
Yeah.
Star Trek movies, and Kumar and I
Yeah.
don't know, the other guy.
It's really funny. He's like when he got injured, he's like my most viewed memories are like automatically rebooted, which means, and then they show like an episode of the show. Like, it is good. I like watching it, but like I said, yeah, I think I agree with you. If they just dropped it all at once, I think it would flow better. These little faults of the show not progressing quickly enough would be, ironically not as noticeable if you watched it all at once,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it
I mean,
would,
that's really how streaming works, and I think that's another thing too. With people complaining about Netflix. I mean, people complaining about Daredevil on Disney
yeah,
versus like Daredevil the series when it was on Netflix. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, okay, there's some points. Some people say like the direction was better, like there was better lighting and shots, and a lot of the stuff falls flat in a lot of the episodes or whatever. That's whatever. That's a different thing. But pacing wise and story wise, again, I think it's like you were okay with the Netflix, not you, Joseph, but
yeah, yeah,
people were okay with the Netflix Daredevil show because they watched it probably in massive chunks, if not literally all in one day. And they
right,
forget that, like, oh yeah, he ain't fucking dressed up like Daredevil till like the last episode of the show.
yeah,
And yeah, he's dressed in Daredevil a lot in season two, but then in season three again, he doesn't wear the Daredevil costume till the end of the freaking season. Same
yeah,
thing with Defenders. Defenders came out and he was barely Daredevil in that as well. I think people like just they have this like false nostalgia.
yeah,
And I think it's like because Disney Plus was releasing these episodes weekly
yeah.
when
I
they dropped
agree.
two.
Yeah, I
So you're getting spoiled and you're not noticing that like all the padding and lag time that were in
right.
episodes, you just forget about that because you were banging through them.
Yeah, I think that is the case. I still like this one. I think to its credit, it's like these little episodes that you don't feel like, oh, I invested an hour and 10 minutes into this
It
and it
is a
went
very
nowhere.
short, fast-paced
Yeah,
show. Maybe that's another reason why we're like, oh man, if they just drop this all at once. Because yeah,
yeah,
they're like 20, 25 minute long episodes. They're not
yeah.
long. So
You
yeah,
could you could watch the whole season in like an afternoon. Like,
how
and
long? How many episodes is it going to be?
it's a good question.
Right now, what are they at? Four, fifth one's
I want to say four.
yeah, I think the fifth
Uh,
one's airing this week.
Murderbot. Let's see, Murderbot TV show. Yeah, we just watched episode 4. And there are going to be 10 episodes. So 10's a good number. Murderbot discovers, yeah. Yeah, we're only 4 episodes in. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a good show. I'll keep watching it. I guess I am at least nitpicking about minor things that are not that
I
important.
mean,
I mean,
hey, think about it too, though. If you like the show that much and you're like, man, I wish it was longer, then it's doing its job.
yeah, I was gonna say all of my criticisms are based around the notion of I'd like a little more. I'd like
Oh, there
it.
you go. Then it's working.
Yeah.
You like the show. You wish it was like a little longer, but at the same time,
Yep.
there. But I don't know. I like it.
Yeah,
It's interesting. I like his narration. I think his narration's funny.
it is very good.
I like that he
Um,
doesn't sound like a robot at all.
right.
Oh,
I
I
like,
did like, was this the episode that it began with the factory where basically they're all built in like this weird prison
yes.
factory? Everyone's
Yeah.
in prison.
Yeah.
Like they're the whole everyone that works there. So that was actually really good. The beginning of this episode, they show you like how they make these things, the murder
Yeah.
bots, and like where it comes from, and the corporation, and when they're talking about like how many years do you have left, and
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
so I think it's a good show in that it's also like playing on like what's going on now. Like there's a lot of corporations that take advantage of prisoners,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
another reason why the United States has legal slavery in this country.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oof.
it is. It's illegal slavery. That's a fucking fact.
Oh
And
yeah. Yeah. In a lot of places with private prisons in
yeah, oh,
particular.
definitely. You got corrupt judges that will put people away for no reason. You got
Yeah.
a fucking free labor source. Oh, what are they getting paid? Like 3 cents an hour or something?
Yeah.
The prison, you're like, here's $170 for
Right.
25 years of sewing women's underwear.
Right. Yeah. If you want to make a phone call home, it'll be 15 of those
Oh,
dollars.
and we did teach you a skill. Oh yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah, they do that shit too. They'll charge you like $50 to make a phone call.
Yeah. That's
Uh,
disgusting.
oh, it's super fucking gross. No, the prison industrial complex in this country is fucking disgusting, and the people that profit over it are disgusting. I did like that a lot about Orange is the New Black. They really got into that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
And ICE too. ICE detention centers, like one of the characters ends up in ICE. And I don't know what the fuck I was gonna say,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean they pay these people like nothing. I think they get like, oh, that's the other thing too. Oh, this skill you learned, yeah, you're not gonna be able to
Right.
outside because no one's gonna want to fucking hire you because you're a prisoner.
Yeah.
I did heard, and I was very upset about this for years, and I think California changed it. They would train all these fucking people, and they would use they'd be like prisoner firefighters. That would be the ones
Yeah.
that would be thrown out to take care of the massive firefighters. And then you would hear that like they couldn't be firefighters out when they got out of prison. I'm like, why would you not?
Yeah.
You be the
They'd be like
fucking
the best
captain of the
firefighters.
firefighters. Like, what do you think? They're gonna steal the copper out of the fucking firehouse's walls? I mean, they might. Who knows? But
Yeah.
but it'd be
Yeah. Well,
like, why would you train all these people? You're still using taxpayer money and all that. And like, you got these professional firefighters, and if they got out of prison early for good behavior and helping on fires, and get those fucking people in, those
yeah.
people a job, man. I think they did change that eventually, but I remember in the beginning they were not, and I thought that was so fucking stupid. Like,
Yeah.
how is that not a complete waste of resources?
Yeah. The whole idea, yeah. Yeah, they really do need to change a lot of those things. Like, but in a lot of ways, if you go to prison once, even briefly, like you're pretty fucked for life, and that has like a really bad effect on like society in general. Um, yeah, I mean, obviously that's a big and different topic, but um, yeah, oof. Um, all right, how do we get from Murderbot to there?
Well, because the beginning of the show is about
Yeah, the prison,
showed
yeah,
you
the
that
prison,
the
right.
people that make these robots are it's prison labor. So,
Yeah,
oh yeah, Sinners. So we caught it last week. I mean, it's pretty much like the tail end of the of there was like nobody there. It was like us and like two other people.
okay.
But I was like
What
looking
I,
for theaters actually,
yeah,
and it's at that point because it's been out a while. And all these
yes,
other movies were out. So what happens is when movies are out a while, if they're still in the theater, they get pushed off into like the little dinky theaters.
right,
And
yeah,
I was looking and I found a theater not far from us. We were going somewhere anyway that still had it on a big screen, big theater. Because I'm like, I'm sorry. I remember when me and my son went to a couple of years ago, we went to see Wakanda Forever, and
okay,
it just came out. And I should have looked. I didn't notice when I bought the tickets. And it was like in the freaking tiniest theater. It was
yeah,
like a theater that like people would rent out for like an office thing.
right,
There was like maybe like 30 seats. I was like, the fuck? I'm sorry. If you're going in that theater, you should not be paying full price. There should be half price for a fucking half a screen. Like,
yeah,
I could have just watched it at home. There was like somebody coughing the whole fucking time. So, so gross. Like, I went back and got our masks out of the car. I'm like, I don't care. We're wearing this. This room's
yeah,
fucking small. And this person wouldn't stop fucking hacking.
that
He's like,
sucks.
I was like, oh my God. Because we weren't masked anymore, but we masked up for that because I was like, I am not getting fucking whatever the fucking juicy shit that person has. But Sinners, no, I found a theater, so it was a big screen.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm going to a movie. I'm not. It's not an art house theater. Don't give it the fucking janitor's closet theater.
Like
Like, oh, we have 30 screens in this movie theater. 10 of them are
yeah,
in the
a
janitor's closet.
significant part of going to a movie is that there are people that it's like an event that there's like it's intangible. It's not like the reason you're going to a movie, but the big screen, there's people there. Yes, I agree. You want a
Yeah, the
bigger picture.
ambiance of the whole thing,
Yeah,
like, and you go in there and they sneak in this like the party room or something.
right.
And I'm just like, the fuck is this? Like, I didn't pay $15 to watch it on a 10-foot screen. Like I said,
The
it's not
janitor
art.
keeps coming in because that's where he keeps his supplies and
Yeah.
shit. You know, it's like
Don't mind me. Oh, my darling. Oh, shut the fuck up. Oh, my darling.
yeah.
Uh,
Well,
it's not an art house theater or whatever, to, like, I don't
yeah.
know. So I found a theater that wasn't, and yeah, I really liked the movie. There'll be spoilers. Actually, it's kind of funny. My son didn't realize that he thought there was two different actors playing the brothers.
Oh,
And,
okay. I guess yeah, he did a
but
great
he did a
job.
great job. Well, I was gonna make a TikTok of this. I was thinking of this yesterday. There should have been four of them, and they could have been like. And then when it was all said and done, you'd be like, "Did he play the Ninja Turtles?"
Right.
Because we got two of the Ninja Turtles in this one. The one brother, spoiler, who becomes a vampire,
Right.
clearly Michelangelo,
Okay.
the
Yeah.
party dude. And then the other guy, the more serious brother, he could be either, I would say, people
Leonardo,
say he was
right?
like Raphael. Well, Raphael was like kind of like the brute or whatever.
Yeah.
But I would say he's more like Leonardo. He's definitely more of the leader type.
Yeah.
So we just needed him to be another one of him to be a scientist,
Right.
and then another one to be like a brute. And it was
Yeah.
like, we watching he's playing the fucking Ninja Turtles. He's already halfway there. You got the party
Instead
dude.
of catfish, they're doing pizzas at the juke joint and stuff.
Yeah. Cowabunga. Where did they get that word from?
Yeah. It was
The old jazz musicians, a rat.
I I liked the movie a whole bunch. I thought it was real good.
I could not stand that one scene in the movie. I thought
Which
it was
one?
so corny.
Oh, I
The music part with all
yeah.
of a sudden like it was a Bootsy Collins. It wasn't boot. It was a guy who looked like him.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like a funk bass player,
I was like,
which
wait,
is going to
what
be
is?
Bootsy
Because he
Collins.
just
Yeah.
pops in and all of a sudden I was like, wait, is this like the River
Well,
Bottom Nightmare Band? You ever watch?
I liked it. Yeah, no, I liked it
You know what
because
I'm
it.
talking about, right?
Yeah,
Emmett
yeah,
Otter's Jug Band
and
Christmas.
yeah,
You got this Depression era, early 30s, and then all of a sudden a band from the late 70s, early 80s shows up on snowmobiles, and they got
well,
like, you're like,
the whole thing was like that good music they said it in the voiceover. Good music will bring people from the past, the present, and the future all together.
yeah, dude. I just thought it was a little,
Yeah,
it was a little much.
I was watching. I took my daughter to see it, and she was looking at it like kind of like side-eyed, like what's going on here. And I thought it was good because like the whole idea was like the vampires sought out the kid because that it was like a piercing. They even say the phrase "piercing the veil." It was like a portal of sorts. Um, and I thought it was cool, but yeah, I could see how other people wouldn't like it. I mean, it
Kind of
was
corny. I get it, but like, so wait, are you saying that they were targeting the main jazz guy because then if they bit him, they would all get his guitar playing powers?
no. I'm saying that like the music, like the chief vampire. What was his name? Merrick.
I don't know. The one I like when he drops out of the sky and he's starting to melt a little bit.
Yeah, the chief vampire is like I've been around for like 800 years. I've lost all the people I've known. But this music makes me feel like I'm alive again. Like it's through this
He does
music
say
that I
he's 800 years.
I don't know if they say he's 800 years, but the two clues are that he's Irish, okay? And he has these gold coins, these Roman
Oh
coins.
yeah, yeah, they were old. Yeah.
And he also says that he starts saying the Lord's Prayer, and he says like some people came to my town and made me say this or whatever, and that the Romans Christianized Ireland like in the year 600 or something, 800, so he's somewhere back there. So you get the idea that he's been around for like 1200 years or something. Um,
Man, he dropped the ball.
yeah,
No,
that's
you think
right.
about it. I always like when they like in these movies. You just gotta accept the fact, but like these movies where they grow up against like this vampire who's like, I'm 1,000 years old.
Yeah,
I'm just like you you've been around, like
got
you
sloppy.
know, like always a man, all instincts. You would never lose in a fight.
Right.
You would be able to like just completely crush anyone because you would have 1,000 years of experience.
Yeah.
But they always drop the ball a little bit. Or
Yeah.
maybe they'll say something like in the movie, and this is a good out. You could be like, I've been doing this too long.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
Dude.
maybe this old vampire needs a break. And then like the young guy stabs him in the thing, and he's like,
Yeah. What was weird when Merrick at the end was like, I'm getting too old for this shit.
yeah, I
It's
was
his
weird.
last.
I'm getting too old for this shit. I'll say.
um, I thought it was good. I know that there's like a lot of smart things in the movie that I didn't take the time to appreciate. Like I know a lot of people are saying it's about colonialism, that like the Romans colonized Ireland and then the colonized people become the oppressors. And so I mean I get that there's a
Well,
lot
yeah,
of
they were making a joke and said this is why you don't let these people at the cookout.
yeah,
So,
right.
one of my favorite scenes though is the guy that he gets to be the door guy, that big dude,
Yeah.
and when he comes back and he was clearly turned to a vampire, he's
Clearly
like,
a vampire,
"Yeah,
yeah.
like why can't you just come in?" He's like, come on, let me in.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I just found that like really funny. Um, okay. So the lead vampire. They
Right,
said even if the lead vampire was killed, they wouldn't die. The only reason why all these people died was because the sun came out.
right,
They were able to keep them out, and then the sun came out.
right.
And the lead vampire died. But they all were kind of like they didn't have like a hive mind, but it looked like they kind of were a little bit. Like he was definitely the
Yeah,
alpha. So when he died, so in the end of the movie, there's a scene where you see the guy, and it's 60 years later. Because
right.
right, it's 1932 in the beginning, and this was 92. I don't know.
Something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you see him, and I guess he owns a club or whatever. And I love though his picture and the like the kind of like thresholded, like black and white, and you see
Oh,
scars, which is like, because in the
right.
younger he gets like slashed in the face. You see that in the beginning of the movie,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, the party dude brother of the brothers, I don't, do you remember their names? I just got pulled.
Well, a smoke and stack were that
I
they
hate to say
called
it.
them smoke and stack. I don't remember which was which. Um,
The Michelangelo.
yeah. Uh,
Um, let's pull up Sinners.
yeah.
Yeah, he shows up
Uh,
with wearing like a looking like Arsenio Hall in a Cosby
right.
smoke and stack. I don't know which one was. Damn, I don't know which one he was.
Yeah. Well, smoke was the stack was the one who became a vampire because
Okay,
there's
so yeah,
that
that was
one.
Stack. Yeah, Smoke died
Yeah.
because that was the whole
Well,
thing too. When I guess that was like his girlfriend or whatever,
yes.
and they had a daughter that died, and you
Yep.
see the grave. So she says to him, like in the thing, like if I get turned a vampire, you have to kill me because I want to
Right.
be able to go see her. And so when he dies in the end, spoiler,
Yeah.
uh, and yeah, well, I love though he's able to take out the clan though. And
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was great. But I guess they must have had military experience, it seemed like, because he had like barracks and he buried the guns and he had access to those weapons. I mean, they did work with Capone though, and I guess the
Right.
theory was is that they probably were on the run. Like if it wasn't gonna be the clan that was gonna get them, could have been like people, Capone's people that would get them in the end or something.
Yeah.
But,
Well, they said that, yeah, they uh I think all of the whole thing to me is they were all gonna die. Like the smoke and sack were gonna die because eventually the Italians or the Irish would have come down and found them.
yeah,
And they knew that. They knew that. They said like we have a couple months or this, that, or whatever. And if the vampires were going to kill, and if the vampires didn't kill him, then the clan was going to show up the next morning and kill him. Like all of these people were doomed from the get go, you know.
yeah,
But there's that scene where you're right, like the woman calls Smoke Elijah, which is his given name, and when he's about to die, she says like, "You can hold him, but I don't want any smoke on him," or something like, "Put out that cigarette. I don't want any smoke on him," meaning I don't want Smoke to
she wants a
join me. I
light.
want Elijah. Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
real poignant scene.
yeah, when he's dying. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I love the. I was like when he shot the main clan guy in the end, like
yeah,
how many times was it or it'd be kind of funny if he's still alive though.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
my,
man.
my left nut. Um,
Yeah, you gonna shot me in my left nut. You missed
uh,
all my vital organs.
it was a very happy ending. To see the clan get killed. Yeah.
I
Um,
love the okay, so I love the ending when I actually did like that scene a lot. So in the end of the movie, you do see well they roll a little bit of credits, but then you
yep.
see the guy old, and that was kind of cool. Like he lived the whole life and
Yeah.
he stuck with the music and uh yeah, he fought the devil literally.
Yeah.
Uh and he, and then Stack, I guess, right, shows up with
Right.
forgot her name in the movie.
Yeah, like Mary, wasn't it, or something?
Well, yeah,
Uh
they even showed that she got away, and you didn't really know if Smoke killed Stack as a vampire. And then, but I did think it was kind of funny because he's like, "Oh, he told me like he'd let me go, but not to like kill anybody or not kill
not to
anything,
kill you. Yeah,
not
not to
kill
kill
you." Not going. And I was just like sitting there, I'm like, I still find that so hard to believe, though. He's like, listen, I will let you live, but
yeah.
there, I specifically tell you, do not go after this our younger cousin or whatever. He's
Yeah.
a jazz musician, and it's utmost important that he plays one of the six jazz musician grandfathers on the Cosby Show. This is your grandfather. He's a jazz musician. We
Well,
already got three grandfathers that are jazz musicians. Remember that in The Simpsons?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
one of the fucking funniest things. Yeah. It's your grandfather. He's a jazz musician. Wasn't it Bloody Gums Murphy?
Yeah, so right.
Uh,
Well,
that's so
yeah, so Smoke must have let Stack go prior to killing the clan.
well,
Uh
he let him go at
yeah,
night, obviously, because
yeah.
he a vampire. In
Um
the daytime would have killed him. But yeah, he escaped or he hid in the barn. Who knows? It doesn't matter.
yeah,
But I liked how he showed up, and I don't know. It's interesting too because it's like it wasn't like the strain where no one has like a voice anymore, and they're all
right.
just like part of a hive. But in a weird way, they were kind of part of a hive. So I guess they got to be independent afterwards
Well, there was like a weird part.
because
I
they
mean, you
say,
saw them all dancing in a circle, like clearly a hive mind of sorts,
well, they're all like kind of brainwashed or something. Like they're in a cult now or something.
Right. But the woman who like knew the most about it was saying that essentially what happened is they died, that they got killed,
Yeah.
but their soul can't move on. So they're still them, but they're
Well,
different,
yeah. I mean,
you
a
know?
vampire is, I mean, it depends. Usually, most depictions, the truest depiction of a vampire is it's an undead. It's not like
Right.
they're kind of like a zombie, but they're
Well,
not.
like in but not that Buffy was like real faithful to it, but in Buffy, like if you got killed by a vampire, a
You learn kung
demon
fu
took
powers
a
immediately.
a demon took your body and it was completely different than you. It had nothing to do with the person you were. Like
But
all of
then
a sudden,
they kind of like Spike was able to become more himself, and
well, he
obviously Angel became more himself. But but then it was Angelus, like the evil.
Yeah. Well, yes, but those had two very like the Shanshu prophecy, like, and I mean, there's like in the lore of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, there's like reasons why they were different. In general, if you got killed by a vampire, you and all of what makes you you is zapped, and it's replaced by this demon.
I
And then
forgot about that. That was actually in the show.
that was the idea of the show. So like it wouldn't be like I could, if a vampire got me, that a vampire could like pretend to be me for a while, because they just wouldn't know. I mean, they might observe me and kind of like, but they wouldn't have any knowledge of me. Like they wouldn't have a memory.
You were not you once you turned.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was a vampire just took a demon.
I just figured you turned into like a monster and like
Yeah, I figure
things
you
changed and you weren't like
in
you figured
classic,
you weren't
yeah,
you because you were, you know,
in
like
classic vampire mythology, you're still you. You just start to crave
yeah, like
blood, and then
True
you,
Blood.
yeah,
The whole thing with True Blood is they played up the whole thing is just you drink blood and that's
yeah,
it. Like you're
yeah,
still that person and I think even like Lestat and all that shit. I think you still were you. I mean, obviously you played.
yeah. I read like the first three books of those.
I
I
read
didn't love them.
you, and then I couldn't. I don't know. Then I read the second one, Lestat, and I was like, "This is stupid."
Well,
I just found
yeah, I read them when I was a kid, and I
he's
liked
in a
Lestat
band.
better.
Like
You
he's
know,
in a
she,
band, so
yeah,
corny.
she wrote those. She was lived in Denton for a long time.
Oh, she did. I thought she was always in New Orleans. I was like, oh,
That's where she wound up, and that's where most of her stuff was done. But she went to UNT, UNT up in
okay.
Denton, and was there for a long time and wrote books. And then she got like super Catholic. Um, yeah, towards the end, she like stopped writing about vampires and witches and started doing like traditional Catholic books.
The fuck wants that?
Yeah. She had to out
How are they
monster
any
the
different then?
vampires. She had to
Vampires, Catholics. I don't get the. I don't know where. Am I seeing two different things? I
yes,
don't
right.
understand one thing. Uh,
um yeah, so but yeah, I look, I liked it a bunch. Here's what I liked about it a whole bunch is that it was it was a derivative, it was a vampire story. It's not like they're breaking new ground, but it was like it felt like a movie. I know I sound kind of like old when I say this, but like it was a big production. It was really well done. It was kind of artistic. It felt like a movie. It was an original property. It had a unique hook to it. It felt like a movie, not, and it didn't feel like it's going to launch a franchise,
they already said they're working on a sequel.
That's fine. I wouldn't mind a
I don't know what
sequel.
a sequel would be about. Like, would it just be different characters or would they bring him back? I feel like I would like, I think in a way, I almost would want it to be just in a different time period. Like
Yeah.
maybe it does take place in the 90s or it does take place in even further, like 1800s or something, like 100 years earlier than that. Like
I
that could be
mean,
a thing.
yeah, you could do that. You could honestly, you could do Stack and Mary like at any point in history would be interesting,
I mean, yeah, you
you
got
know?
60 years of like where they,
Yeah.
well, I just find it interesting because it's like they still were themselves, obviously immortal,
Uh-huh.
needing to drink blood, but they weren't under that. In a way, they were like independent. I'm assuming they made their own hive of. I'll
Yeah.
assume they made more vampires, or maybe they didn't. Who knows? Maybe they.
Well, they looked comfortable. They didn't look hunted, or
Yeah, like he looked like he's. Yeah, like he's living it up. Like he had
yeah,
that, tons of jewelry, and
right.
you know, she had tons of jewelry. I like his fucking nameplate on his hand. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
like yeah, they didn't look like they were on the run. It looked like
right.
they didn't give a shit. Like maybe people didn't even know they were vampires or something until, and then
Yeah.
they did find out they were vampires because they were gonna die. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. I thought the
I'm
whole thing,
I don't think I need to see that story, but hey, if they make a
yeah.
sequel, I'd maybe check it out.
I'll check it out just because if the same people are involved, I know it's going to be a good production. I took my kid to see it. I thought that uh, I thought it was really good. There's a few scenes where it was like some heavily implied sex that were like a little uncomfortable. But honestly, for the most part, it was a
I
pretty
mean, like when he has smoke has gets it on with his ex or whatever
yes.
she was. Yeah.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's like an oral sex scene where you don't see anything, but it's not even implied. It's like explicitly stated, like I'm going to.
I did cover my son's eyes as a joke during this scene. That's right. No, there's a scene where she's having sex with him, and that's when she turns Smoke into a
Yeah,
vampire. Or Stack into a vampire. I did like they showed him like in the beginning as we get to like he's the dumb one clearly, but no, he wasn't dumb. He was the one that was like out of the two of them, he'd be the one that would be the friendly one, and the other
yeah,
guy's the business one.
yes, yeah,
And he's the one who has more heart than his brother did, maybe, even though his brother, is like
yeah,
in the beginning, because they run a juke joint, and the whole point is, well, one is to have a business and have their own business, but the other one too is just like, people were showing up with like wooden nickels, which I guess is like promissory notes,
plantation
basically.
money. Yeah,
Yeah, like they weren't even money, and they're like, we're gonna be out of business, and he's just like, let these people have a beer. I mean, let them have
yeah,
some beef.
um, yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you the saddest part of the movie was I took my kid, and my kid's always like, I said, "You want a popcorn and a slushy?" And she says, "Yeah." And so I fill out the loan application, and I get
So
the popcorn
stupid.
and slushy,
That's
and
why I
then
taught my son that we go to
yeah,
Five Below,
seeking in Zagnut
sneak in
bars.
a bag of candy.
Well,
If anyone's, I mean, not us, some other people we know. They live in Canada, and then uh, after the movie, I'll get you a $2 Slurpee that will taste better than the
yes,
$12 Slurpee.
right. Well, we get the popcorn, and this is the saddest part of the movie. We get the popcorn and the Slurpee, and we go into the theater, and I'm like, oh, I gotta what seats are we in? So I get out my app, and I look in the seats, and as I'm looking at our seats, I notice a little thing at the bottom that says "Happy Birthday." You get a free popcorn and slushie because I'm in the AM. I do $25 a year for that AMC thing, so I needlessly bought a popcorn and slushie. And so
You
we get
still
our
have it?
seats.
Is this still good for another couple weeks?
No,
Usually,
it was like gonna expire the next day. So I
uh,
went back, and my plan was because I always like steal my kids slushy. I slurp off of it. It drives her nuts. But so I was like, I'm gonna get my own slushy. I'm gonna live high off the hog. And I go to get a slushy, and my plan was to give the popcorn to whoever was in line, without touching it, just say, hey, free popcorn for my birthday. Would you like a popcorn? But there was no one in line, so I came back with this huge ass thing of popcorn. Like,
hey, at least you got it. So in
yeah,
theory, you paid only $30 for it
right, yes,
for
yeah,
four
on that,
things instead of
yeah,
yeah, that's how it
uh,
works. That's how I
uh,
look at it. Things or sometimes when I buy things. No.
yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, okay, so that was Sinners. I'm so glad I saw it. I'm glad I
Yeah, I
took my
liked it.
kid.
So we were debating like, oh, we're gonna see Karate Kid or we're gonna see this. And I heard the new Karate Kid movie wasn't that good.
Yeah,
I watched some reviews of it, and I mean I did want to see it. I heard spoilers. What's his face is hardly in it. It's basically a glorified cameo.
yeah.
Ralph Macchio.
Oh,
What's his face is not in it that much either. Jackie Chan is
mm,
like maybe a little bit more in the movie than, but again, kind of like a glorified cameo.
yeah,
The story sounded like interesting, but they said they like merged in like another story. Like if they just had this one story, it would have been a better movie. It would have been more unique. But then they had to like throw in this tournament that didn't feel earned or something.
yeah.
And I don't know. It just didn't. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna see it. He really liked it a lot. Actually, he liked Sinners a lot, and
Okay,
yeah, because I was like, I want to see a movie that's good. I mean, like,
yeah,
this is fucking expensive, and I heard really good things about this movie. I don't think I've heard one negative thing about Sinners.
yeah. I have not either. Uh,
I
everyone
will say
across the
it
board.
reminded me a little bit of Dusk Till Dawn, a little bit.
It definitely did. I would say, like, I was talking to my daughter about that afterwards. I was like, because she loves horror movies, but she hasn't seen a ton of vampire movies. When I was a kid, I watched vampire movies, vampire
Sure.
shows. It was real big. And I was like, well, they're these tropes that are like you almost have to engage in them, and like if you're going to have the mystery of like, will you invite someone in? And then you're going to be like, well, have they been bitten? Then, there's going to be all these things. This one did feel like Dusk Till Dawn. Felt a little bit like Near Dark.
Yeah,
Which,
yeah. The guy reminded me of like Bill Paxton's vampire.
yeah, that's kind of what
Because
made
they
me,
didn't grow teeth, but in the end, he became more ghoulish.
yeah,
Like in the most of the movie, he's just like he's got blood in his face and his eyes glowed a little bit. He didn't have like sharp fangs or anything.
yeah,
Then like in the end, when the main guy confronts him, he has like these long like fingers with like long
yes.
fingernails. He's more monstrous in the end. Um,
One of the funniest scenes was when the Native Americans show up and they try to like rescue those people. And the guy looks and notices like a clan robe there, and he's like, "Okay, well, you guys be safe."
oh, I remember that. Yeah, yeah, they
Yeah,
were trying to capture him,
yeah,
and that's right. That was in the yeah, they were like hunting him down or something.
right. They
The
were,
Native
they were.
Americans or
He said he said later in the movie that he tried to basically he said I tried to get were they Navajo or something? He said I tried to get them to join us, but what he means by that is I tried to turn them all into vampires and it didn't
yeah.
work. And so yeah, they were like basically hunting him down like police or something. And he escaped into that
Well, maybe that's
couple's.
something they could play into in the sequel then.
Yeah, actually that would be a really interesting story. This and it could end with the Navajo or who I forget the
I know
tribe,
this
but
will sound like I don't know how I'm going to say this without it sounding weird. I did find it interesting, and this is so much. It's like there's like a couple Asian people in the movie,
yeah,
and they could have gave them this like corny ass like Chinese accent or some
right,
bullshit.
right.
No, they had accents of the people that lived there.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
sounded Southern
It
or
was
whatever it
also
was.
yeah, it was all really well done.
And it's like, yeah, that's probably makes more sense actually. Like, why
Right.
would they all be like they just came off the boat or something? And
Yeah. Maybe that
yeah, I thought
maybe
it was
they're
weird when that long duck dong gong would go off.
right.
I thought that was a
Yes.
little tasteless.
Yeah. Yes. Right. Well, speaking of
Hold on. Miles Catton is the young.
the young what?
Oh, you're back.
Yeah, you froze. Well, one of us
He
froze for a
froze.
second.
He
Miles Catton was what? The young
He was their cousin, the jazz guy.
okay,
He
yes,
had like
yeah.
the deepest voice. His
Yeah.
voice sounded deeper than the old guy in the end. I like though when he says to him, like you obviously like you don't have long left. Like, yeah, the guy,
Right.
I mean, he's like in his, I'll assume 80s or something.
Yeah,
Well,
he's
into his
very
80s.
old.
And he's like, I could turn you could stick around for a while, play more music. And he's just
Hmm.
like, I've seen enough shit or
Yeah.
something. I was like thinking about that though. Like, I had like a joke in my set. I didn't really, I'm going to do it again because I didn't think I got it out right. And I was thinking, I'm like, all right, I'm 47. Joseph's like a vampire. So he's like 100.
Yeah,
He's like 4,000 years old.
it's true.
Let's think about it. Do you feel like maybe we just because we're living it, like we think that like, oh, we're living in this like this information and stimuli overload, like all these events that are happening, that all these events always happen, and now we're just seeing it quicker. So,
Um,
like you always hear like, oh, those people are the greatest generation. Fuck that. I would say millennials and Z are going to be the greatest generation because they're going to be the ones
yeah.
that have got to clean up all the shit from the boomers.
Yeah, I would say definitely we live in accelerated times simply because um my dad and I talk about this a lot. Like I was born I started using personal computers when I was like in eighth or ninth grade, like the old TRS-80s. I would, I started working on computers, and then over the years, I got like those old Nokia cell phones, and then now I use an iPhone. So I mean, like in my lifetime, I've seen so much technologically change. But
Yeah.
in my grandfather's lifetime, he got like telephones and color TV. That was it. Like it went from like black and
The
white
thing
TV
about
to color.
like your dad, who didn't have
Yeah.
color TV yet when he was a kid, it wasn't around. I'm assuming. Well, how old's your dad?
He's like 82,
Yeah, yeah.
84,
So yeah,
somewhere in
it
that
wasn't
ballpark.
really color TVs yet. I mean, there was
Oh yeah, there were. He was
barely
born in like 38. Color TVs came out in the 20s or something.
TVs didn't come out in the 20s. We
Color
color
TVs?
color TVs
Oh
were
yeah, I'm
fucking
thinking of TVs in
60s.
general. Yeah. Uh
Yeah, that was it. You ever watch Boardwalk Empire?
yeah, yeah.
Remember that last episode? Because it takes place in the 20s, and he's on the boardwalk and they're showing like television or something, and he gets to see television, but
Yeah.
then he gets killed shortly afterwards. But it was just
Right.
like an interesting thing. Like he's just like, what the fuck is this? Moving images and TV. Yeah, the earliest stage of TV, but TV as itself probably didn't really kick into the late 40s.
Yeah, well, the first I just Googled it because you're right. Color TV wasn't really prevalent until like the 60s. Um
Yeah.
uh but television was around in like the 1910s. Like there was live television in like 1909.
Okay, an actual TV, not some weird little like a horse moving around in a
Yeah.
circle.
Um let's see when
Like, what are you talking? You're like changing history on me.
no, like there's people had TVs in like the 20s. Uh the first
Oh,
television
it's a
station
19,
was
okay.
1928.
The first fully electronic television system was successfully demonstrated in 1927 by Philo Taylor Farnsworth. While
It's
earlier,
like the most old time name ever.
here,
What
yeah,
was his
I am Philo Taylor Farnsworth, and
right?
forever this device will be known as the Philo Taylor Farnsworth. And they're like, no, dude,
Yeah.
no, we're not gonna call this the Farnsworth. No one's gonna want this.
Yeah.
Those I ain't gonna buy one of them Farnsworths. Goddamn Philos.
Well,
Uh, let's see. John Logie Baird demonstrates televised images in motion in 1925. Farnsworth demonstrates his television system to reporters and first televised broadcast is transmitted via mechanical TV station, 1928.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like real broadcast television with programs and shit. That's like not till like post World War II.
Yeah.
People were listening to the radio. No one, if anyone had a TV, they were either like super rich and what the fuck were they watching? Static. Oh, what are we
Yeah.
watching today? Are we watching the snow? It's
Yeah. Television was used around 1940. Yeah. They're saying by the 40s it was pretty widespread. Um yeah, anyway, I mean like you're right. Like when I think of like it's hard to say. Like
well, think of somebody who's like 80 years old though. And if they don't live in a fucking bubble and they actually pay attention to the
right.
world, that's gonna be like a massive cultural everything, just complete cultural shifts.
Yeah.
Like if this person is 80 and they're not like a completely old-timey racist, like that's a miracle in itself.
True.
I mean, their lives growing up, the most like I don't know what you call it, brain grown. I don't know, like where they get ingrained with shit, like that's why all these right wingers want to like change education for kids because they know that if you don't teach certain histories and don't teach,
Right.
you're gonna get a bunch of fucking right wing voters.
Mm.
And I don't know. I just think it's crazy. I just think like, that's why I made a joke today about like how we live in like interesting times. Just like I didn't go into full detail, but just like fuck, we had like a 9/11. Like I said,
Yeah.
think about it, like there's a guy like 300 years ago, and fucking most interesting thing this person did was probably live through a potato famine, and it
Yeah.
lasted his entire life.
Well, yeah. Oh, there's been moments of big change. I mean, they always say that the big monumental changes were the move from like hunting and gathering to like agriculture. Like we're not
Yeah.
going to wander
Well, that's a
around anymore.
massive, yeah, that's when you
Right.
think of society.
And then the second one was the industrial revolution, and then the next one was like the computer revolution. So we're living in like we're living kind of in the middle of one of only three giant shifts in the way we live, and it's us specifically because like you're right, like our grandparents didn't really, I mean, I guess like a lot of them lived through this, but my grandfather died in like the 1980s, late
My
1980s.
grandfather died right before 2000.
Yeah, okay.
Grandmother died a couple years later.
Yeah, so they got a glimpse of what was to come. I mean, like by then you could certainly, the
I mean,
writing
they
was
were
on the
watching
wall.
cable and, you know,
But I'll tell you, if you had told me about the iPhone, even in like the year 2000, I would have been like, no, that's not going to happen in my lifetime.
well, I will
That
say this. When I saw the iPod, I'm not joking. I really
yeah,
said that this, I was always thought like when they added a screen, a functional screen, like,
right,
ooh,
yeah,
like, I remember like it had like freaking Jack Sparrow. And I'm like, why the fuck would I watch a movie on this? It was like two
right,
inch, wasn't even the full screen yet. And I was like, oh, they're totally making an iPhone. They're
yeah,
gonna make a phone out of this shit. This is the next evolution. I
yeah,
was saying this, and then 3 fucking years later, it was an iPhone.
yeah.
They
They
heard,
say I read
they
today
heard
that
me.
well, I read today that uh, open AI that are making what they think will be a third device. Like the big devices now are cell phones and laptops. Like those are pretty ubiquitous. But they're making a new device without a screen that's like basically an AI that travels with you and understands the context of where you are and what's going on. It's pretty weird.
That is weird. I can't even understand.
Yeah, like
My
yeah,
simple ways don't understand. I'm a Luddite. I
well,
remember that when I was talking about shitty AIs. I get these comments on my Instagram like, "Oh, you're a Luddite." I'm like, "Go fuck yourself, dude." Like,
I saw this thing the other day where it was like a scientist said that if AI keeps up its pace, it's gonna like wipe out the Earth. Did you see
yeah,
that?
yeah. They
Yeah,
said that AI keeps up that there won't be any kid. There'll be like 200,000 people left in the world or something.
right. Yeah, the world's population will be about the population of uh Britain, like basically. So, but then I saw
What's his theory? Where does it come from? Is he just saying like people aren't going to live their lives? They're not going to go on like get married? They're not going to have kids? Is that what he's saying? Like
it'll just be like
they're not going to feel the need to. They'll get like sexual satisfaction from
no, I
like.
think it'll be like a cataclysmic change in the way things are done. Like if AI starts doing like I had to make a hotel reservation today and it was a fucking nightmare. All I could deal with was AI chatbots and people would call me back. And then this is really weird. I can't believe I didn't tell you about this earlier. I'm at work today and I get a call and they're like, "Can I talk to so and so?" And I was like, "I don't think she's here right now." And I'm like, because nobody wants to talk. You tell
There
it
was
was
an AI you're talking to.
it was an AI, and I talked to him, and then I put the guy on hold, and then I came back, and he like repeats something, and I'm like, "Are you? Is this a person?" And I just came out and said, and he's like, "I'm a digital assistant." Blah, blah. I'm like, "Son of a bitch!" It was a fucking chatbot. I'm like a fucking sucker.
Yeah,
I'm
there won't
sitting
even
there
be people.
talking to a
What?
fucking
So
robot.
we'll die because people won't be able to make a fucking living
Right,
and
that's it. That
won't
they said,
eat.
yeah, like theoretically, you wouldn't need any fast food workers anymore, or grocery store workers
Well, who the
anymore,
hell is going to buy the
or
food?
truck drivers
Yeah,
anymore,
who's going to buy the
or
food?
that's it. Is that it would and we would not be able to adapt quickly enough to to make people whole.
There was a
Um,
comedian today that made a pretty funny joke. He was talking about he says that people want to eat the rich, but he's like I feel like the rich would enjoy that too much. Like they
yeah,
could go onto like weird kinky shit
yeah,
that they would
totally.
they would that some of these weirdos would enjoy being eaten a little too much.
Well,
Well, they
yeah.
do love to shunt, so the
Well, I
thrill
was
of the
gonna
hunt is the thrill of the shunt.
I was gonna segue from the Native Americans hunting down the vampire to another famous Native American performer.
Well,
Uh,
hold on. Remember, okay, speaking of Native Americans, so like
yeah,
that was one of the part of killing the way they systematically killed a lot of Native Americans in the genocide was by going killing the buffalo,
yeah, yeah,
knowing full well that the buffalo was very important to a lot of indigenous people, and you go
yeah.
after their main food supply. It's they actually touched on that in that movie Prey, the
Oh
Predator
yeah, I
movie that
remember
came
that.
out.
Yeah,
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 but that's real. That's a real fact.
right. Yeah,
Kind of like what Peacemaker did with the butterflies and
right.
by killing the cow.
Yeah,
But I mean, like, so hold on. So this person's theories that we're going to be wiped away, what, just because people won't be able to afford to live? Like, I
yeah,
mean, like,
yeah, and it will cause like great political upheaval, and like some countries won't be able uh to roll with it. I mean, like honestly, like if you look at places like India, maybe the Philippines, there's a lot of places that are built entirely on performing like virtual assistant services, call centers, stuff like that. If AI starts doing that, then like entire countries won't have an economy, and they won't have
yeah. Look, I mean, think about
sustenance.
Hollywood too. Think about Hollywood.
Yeah.
I always love that you see these like tweets of people like, oh, Pixar's done. And it was like some video. And it's like, yeah, but like that only exists. This AI, like it was like it looked good. I mean, the evolution from like last year is insane. The past two
Oh
years,
yeah.
been crazy what they can do. It's not 100% there yet, but it's getting fucking close and it's scary. And the
Yeah.
thing is that, everyone said like, they're showing like Pixar's done. It's like this only exists because Pixar exists. They stole Pixar,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like the content created. So if you turn people off from the arts, turn them off from doing making art and being encouraged to make art because there's a possibility you can make a career out of it, you could be a famous artist or whatever. And then all of a sudden it's like where's the encouragement's destroyed. If people
Yeah.
like I refuse to pay for AI stuff. If your content's AI, I'm not paying for that. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I'm not paying. If a Hollywood movie comes out and I find out they used AI in it, I'm not watching it. Or if I did watch, I'm definitely not paying for it. Fuck that.
Yeah. I was saying, I don't know. I've the sad part is AI is here. It's not going to go away. It's only going to get more
But is it really AI?
pronounced.
Isn't it just like a
Um,
search engine, really? I mean,
yeah, a lot of it's just a search engine, but like
but I guess
some
that
of
in a way that makes it's growing because the search engine's like
yeah. Plus,
more.
also like what is like our intelligence like is often similar. Like you could say you have an original idea, right? Like I have an original idea for blank, but like
I
often
had an
it's
original idea the other day. I was joking with my son, and then I Googled it and realized it's not original at all.
right. Yeah,
And I
exactly. Like
made it.
a lot of times like our ideas are just synthesized versions of
Yeah,
other things we've
okay, so
read,
I would hear this bullshit from AI supporters, like AI pushers, like, oh, artist, oh, you're just copying this and doing your own thing. How is it any different than me prompting? And it's like, because it's not the same.
Yeah, well, I would argue that it's like the time, like you or anyone doing something like labors, and so
Yeah, but they don't
they
care. They don't give a
right.
shit.
Well, they do when it's them, I mean, like the
Well, yeah, I would always say to them, what do you do for a fucking living? What do you do for a living? Where do
yeah.
you work? How about I
The
come in and
only
take away your fucking way of making money? You
the
fuck.
only I mean, like AI can do like a lot of things. The only people I really see that are maybe immune to it are things like yoga instructors, or if you own a kayaking, expedition business. There's
Yeah, but
not
there
like a
can
ton.
only be so many yoga instructors. And
Yeah,
here's the other thing too. If people can't afford to eat,
yeah,
they're going to be paying you for yoga instructing. That's like it's not much different than like when we found out like how Elon all them fired all those government employees, and all these MAGA shitheads were like laughing about it. Ted Cruz was like laughing about it. And then it's like, how come no one goes to my diner anymore? I
Right.
don't know, because half the town is unemployed now.
The other thing too, I think
They
that
made money. Just because you don't value a government job, it's still very important to our economy.
yeah, yeah, I think one a weird thing that people aren't thinking is that like the world we like rules, like people like rules in general, but like you also like a lot of like what makes the world work is like breaking rules, and AI isn't like super good at breaking rules. Like if I go to a restaurant and and the waitress knows I'm having like a shitty experience or whatever, like they might give me a whole bunch of fries and say, "Hey, I hooked you up with some fries." You
Right.
know what I mean?
AI is not going to do that.
And the AI
I
won't
am
do
going to make
that.
the exact quantity and the
Right.
fries, 4.3 ounces as per stated by the corporate head.
Yes.
Oh, wait,
Or
no,
they'll
it wouldn't
have
have that robot voice. It'd be like, hey, how are you doing?
yeah, like that
Put in
motherfucker I talked to
4.2
today.
ounces of fries into your thing, buddy.
But like it won't do that. Or like if you walk in at like a smart clerk at a restaurant or whatever will like start turning down the lights at like 10:58 if they close at 11, and
Yeah.
they'll go up to the door and say, hey, we're closing in like 2 minutes or whatever. But like an AI won't. They like you need a little rule breaking, like in a kind of constructive way, and I don't know how AI can. I'm sure they can program it, but anyway,
Yeah.
we're going off on a tangent here. I
No,
wanted to,
but this is like, I will say this though, ended on this right now.
yeah,
When we were kids, or at least when I was a kid, I know you were like 30 already.
yeah,
When Terminator 1 came out, I was scared the shit out of that movie. That movie scared the fuck
yeah,
out of me. The idea of the future and like, why is the future so awful?
right.
You're
Why
living
is
in
he
danger.
stepping on those skulls?
Yeah, what the fuck is going on here? Brum, 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 brum. And then like
Yeah,
you find out the whole thing's AI, it's kind of
right.
controlled Skynet. And you're like, I always thought AI was gonna be like this Ultron shit or something, but then you like, nah, AI is a somewhat photorealistic photo of a 75-year-old woman with huge, big old naturals.
Yeah,
Or I guess AI naturals. I mean,
right.
like, what? I didn't think that was gonna happen. That was not in my why I hate when people say that's not
Yeah,
on my bingo card.
right. Um,
But it's
yeah,
true. I didn't that would have been I was more concerned about like robots like taking
yeah.
over or whatever. Instead,
Well,
I'm getting confusing images. I'm like, I don't know.
it is
What's
weird. I
good?
mean, like eventually,
Why does
like
this exist? Who prompted this?
and we'll talk about this later on. Actually, we'll talk about it in after we talk about the next thing. Um, you get to the point where you're like, how many soldiers do you even need, or how many airplanes
You're
do you
not
need,
going
or
to. That's the
yeah,
thing. It'll be like a room full of people running drones, and that's kind of what it's turning into.
yeah.
That I
Well,
don't know.
before we get to that, I originally wanted to segue from the Native Americans hunting down the vampire to another famous Native American who got his start in show business, Pee Wee Herman, who as
That's right here. What was he dressed up at? Wait, why was
he dressed up as a Native American, went on the Gong Show, and he was
Oh
like
yeah.
Chief Long Toes or something. And
It was an interesting documentary.
yeah.
It's
Well,
kind of,
we're
it was
talking
sad. The ending's
yeah,
sad. I mean, you hear his voice in the end. It was like the last day he's alive, and he
yeah.
just like so I'm assuming most of the movie was filmed years ago then. This documentary they were working on for a while, and I mean he died back in 2023, but did they say when they actually started making it? Because the
I
last
don't
year the last year of his life he like wouldn't participate in it, and from what it sounds like.
yeah,
And he was going to do something, but then he died like shortly before he was supposed to do it.
right. Well, it
That
was
would have
a
been probably too sad. He probably would have been like really ill and like just like really emaciated. Like,
yeah. I don't know. It's um the guy started it, I guess, in 2021, and he finished it in 2024. And Pee Wee Herman died uh
23.
yeah, so towards the end of the film.
So
Um,
he had cancer for 6 years and didn't let anybody know. I'm wondering, like, I'm trying to think if he even made anything in that time period. Now I want to like look it up.
yeah,
Hey, what's his face worked till the end pretty much, and he died.
yeah, the
That's right.
Black Panther.
Yeah, I mean, he was in tons of movies. There was like even when he died, there was still like 4 or 5 movies in the can. Um,
Yeah, Pee Wee Herman was looks like he did a few things. I guess he was on an episode of The Conners. Um,
oh, he was in like yeah, like the first season of it. That's right.
yeah,
He did some stuff. He pop up here and there on things.
right. I don't know. I don't think it's that crazy that someone have cancer. Like, because cancer's weird. I don't, I'm not a cancer expert, but like I know people personally who currently have cancer that are out doing all sorts of things, and have
Yeah,
been for a few years with pretty aggressive, pretty, later stage cancer.
he was in
Um,
Quiz Lady in 2023. I saw that movie. I'm trying to remember who
yeah,
he was in. He must have been. Oh, I think he played himself. He
could
did.
be.
Yeah, I think there was like a joke or something in that movie. There was like a big joke about like someone confusing Paul Rubin for someone else.
Huh.
And that was like a big plot in the movie. It was like a joke almost. And then he shows up in the end and they're like, yeah, just pretend to be this person or whatever. And
Yeah.
yeah, I forgot. Yeah, he had a decent part in that.
Well,
Uh
this was a two-part documentary. The first one, well, they're both about 2 hours long, right? I mean, uh, roughly hour and 50 minutes somewhere. They feel like a movie. Each
yeah,
one feels like a
no, it
movie.
was good. It goes into his like first half is his early life.
Yep.
Um, I guess he did a lot of stuff that he made sure to hide because it was very gay. Some of the
Yeah.
content, like it was
Yeah.
like experimental films and stuff where he's like in a dress and
Yep.
like I mean, listen, I never thought this guy was not gay ever. There's a really
Yeah.
funny part in well, there's a couple of parts that are really funny in Pee-wee's Big Adventure where they're basically implying he has no interest in women. And one of
Right.
them is the scene when he's talking to Dottie and he's like, listen,
Yeah. I'm a loner. I'm a
I'm a
rebel.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
like the part when he's with the prisoner was a little weird
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like when he's dressed up like the woman, the prisoner's like he's like
Yeah.
he's like, I don't care. Um, I never that was funny when they talk about him doing Big Top Pee Wee, and I
Yeah.
guess he had more control over that one, and that one ended up being up.
A bomb. Yeah.
I love that. It's like, you know what, man? Maybe you shouldn't be in control all the time. Maybe it's good to have
Yeah.
like collaborators and people like Tim Burton.
Tim Burton was ideal for the first one.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I loved this. I used to go, like, the first part of the first episode took place in Sarasota. I used to go up to Sarasota all the time as a kid. I used to go to that Oslo Theater and the Ringling Museum. It's really, really cool, really quirky. Um, and then he left and went out to California. And I guess he came out pretty early, and um his parents were real accepting of his coming out.
I thought they said his
um
dad really wasn't.
well, he said, remember there's that scene where he's like, his dad eventually wrote him a letter and said, if you're going to be a homosexual, I want
I
you to
want
be
to
the
be the
best.
best one.
Yeah. And then Paul Rubens, like, deadpan, goes, so that's what I did that night. I went out and I was the best homosexual. He's like, I'm just kidding.
That
uh
was funny. Yeah, no, it was
um
good. It's sad. I mean,
it's
like
very
it's
sad.
sad what happened to him. I mean, listen, I could see okay, when he got caught that time in the porno theater,
Right.
there's a couple of things that were going on there. One, and I don't know if they talked about it much in the movie, but like, did they mention it? Like, he was that show was even though it was getting aired, I guess they made a ton of episodes at a time, so people didn't realize it. It's like he filmed those like 2 years earlier.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
show was done. Like he's just collecting some residuals or something at this time.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing, is he had gone back to Sarasota after the show wrapped up.
His hair
I mean,
grew longer, and they're like, "What the hell happened to Pee Wee?" And people are like,
yeah.
"Wait, Pee Wee on TV?" And it's like, "Yeah, he filmed those like 3 years ago." Like you're watching, so people didn't realize that like Paul Rubin was not active as Pee Wee Herman at that time.
That's I remember seeing in the Fort Myers News Press, seeing his arrest photo and hearing about the Sarasota arrest.
I will
And thinking at the time, like, how did he grow his hair so long so quickly? You know, like
Yeah,
not
that's what I thought
realizing.
too. I was like, and then it
Yeah,
explained, like, yeah, the show was canceled like 3 years
yeah,
ago, but people are watching it syndicated. They when they made seasons of these shows, they made like 50 episodes at a
yeah,
time. So it's like, yeah, there's 3 years of, but they made like over 100 episodes in those 3 years, and it's like, so people just think the show's been on forever, and they're still making new ones. And I
yeah,
could see, okay, I could see it's like, here's this child's property, and the guy gets caught jacking it in a porno theater, and
right.
I don't remember. I just heard that. I don't think it got out that it was a gay porn theater.
Yeah, I'm stunned that there
It
was a
might not
gay
even, it
porn
might have just been
theater
a
in
porno theater.
Sarasota.
What?
I'm stunned there was a gay porno theater in
It might not have been
Sarasota.
specifically a gay porno. It was just a porno theater. And
I'm surprised there was a porno theater in Sarasota.
yeah, right.
Frankly, I mean, like,
Yeah. So he, I could see some people having like, obviously, then there's a bunch of ghouls that'll come in and try to
yeah,
make it worse. But I could see how some people would be like, that's ew, because he's like a fucking mascot almost. He's like a
yeah.
real person. And
I would,
um,
I, and he brought this up in the show. I remember watching the original Pee Wee special that was on HBO,
oh, that thing was great.
which I guess was like an adaptation of his stage show that he
Yeah.
did, right? And it was raunchy. I mean, like
Well, it was on
Jambi,
HBO. It was
yeah,
not really meant for kids, but I
no,
watched it all the fucking
I
time.
did too as a kid. And I got the jokes. I remember when Jambi got his hands, he's like, there's been something I've been wanting to do. You know, he's like clearly going to go jerk off. And
What did you think that the show had a ton of, the Pee Wee's Playhouse had a ton of entendres in it.
yeah, there's,
What did he made a joke and said that, like, if you knew, you knew, but you didn't find out from us. You knew the
yeah,
joke
he
because
said
you knew.
he would say to parents basically like if they get it, it's because you taught them. You know, like it's something you did or they picked it up from the streets, but it's likely that you your
What was
parenting.
it? The Christmas special had like this really gay thing in it with the
Yeah.
two guys like that were like digging for
Yeah.
treasure. So I don't know. It's
Well,
really,
there's that one scene they showed in the show with Missy Vaughn on like a rocking horse.
it's weird
She
too watching that
clearly,
because that scene's
yeah,
weird. She's like on a
yeah.
Sybian.
And yeah, and Jimmy Smits is like the repairman or something, and she
Yeah,
invites
I
her.
didn't
She's
know he
like,
was on that
I
show.
didn't either.
Dude,
You know what I
he's
thought
like
was weird?
riding a Sybian.
I didn't realize that Natasha Lyonne was like a little kid on that
I didn't
show.
know that either, but I mean,
Yeah,
I knew she was like a kid actress. I thought that was
sure.
kind of funny. But dude, that scene is fucking
Yeah,
weird. And being that she became like Charlie's mom,
yeah,
uh, kind of like everyone knows her from that. For her writing that thing, I was like,
yeah,
so like that would like she fucked that thing. Like
yeah,
she like that was the I was like, I don't know. I just think like I get like people would be upset. Like, and he should
yeah.
have known better. But ooh, look at this though. It probably was the best thing that could have happened to him in the end because even though it hurt him for a little bit,
It
he
freed
ended
him
up
from
getting he got first thing right out the gate, he was Tim Burton hooked him up to be Oswald Cobblepot's
Yep.
dad, and the woman who goes, Pee-wee, that
He
woman.
was he
They were
got on, he was
Cobblepot's
on
parents
MTV.
just in the beginning. Yeah, they got to go and he goes, you heard any good jokes,
Yep,
and then he got in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and he
yep.
ended up in a bunch of other stuff. He was in Blow, and he got, and I thought that was interesting too. He was like hanging out with that woman. I forgot. She's very like, I forgot the name of the actress, but she always had like a kind of like a Betty Page look.
Oh,
What's her name? It's maybe it's like starts with a Z. Her name.
mm,
She was recently. She played Medusa in that Greek mythology show that was on Netflix with
oh,
Goldblum.
yeah. I'm not gonna be able to remember that.
Uh, hold on, I'm gonna tell you right now her name. They were interviewing, and I guess they like pretended to date, even
Oh,
though
okay.
she's gay. Um, she didn't care. She said it was like an old style Hollywood couple type thing. Where
Yeah, that's I was gonna say that is that
Debbie
he
Mazar.
oh yes, I like her a lot. She hung out with Madonna a lot.
Yeah.
She was in that show Civil Wars with Sybil Shepherd, I think,
Well,
was
she
in
was
that.
always kind of cool looking.
Yes,
You could
she
tell
had those
she was like,
eyebrows.
yeah,
I remember I had a big crush on her when I was in college, and I was dating this girl at the time, and she went to a coffee shop called Yab Yum in the evening, and she ran into Debbie Mazar there with one of the Orlando Magic basketball players,
No,
and
that's
I
weird.
was real sad because I didn't get to see her. So anyway, um, yeah, it did. He felt like one of the last big people that stubbornly refused to come out of the closet. You know what I mean? Like, I know there's other people
I
that
mean,
don't, but like, uh,
well, then when that thing that happened to him was awful, where
yeah,
he with the so the he got accused of having some lewd
yeah, children,
and they found like one magazine. The guy had like a massive collection. He had like an archive of all this shit.
right,
Dude, the photos were fucking funny though. The gay
yeah,
erotic art. That shit was hysterical. But like, I guess one of them, it just looked the guy looked really young in the photo, but he was of age supposedly, and he didn't like. I mean, like one out of like 5 million things this guy owns, and it's like this is like the one questionable thing, and it's like
yeah.
he
Well,
ended
it's
up having
like,
he was on the sex offender list because of it.
yeah, it is like having like a collection of like Greek art or something with like,
He got yeah, no, it was a total
yeah,
character assassination attack. And they said like that one guy, they showed that greasy politician, like he looked
yeah.
like such a creepy politician, and we're like, I'm gonna ride off of this. And like,
It just sucks. I mean, it sucks because he was, um, he was like such a big part of like what I thought, what I thought was funny and cool. You know what
I
I
wish
mean?
I
Like,
saw the play. I wasn't living in New York at the time, and I never watched. I feel like I should go watch it now. I think it's on HBO, the Return of Pee-wee's it
okay,
was like in the early 2000s. And I think I told you this, right? Yeah, my job, team services,
yeah,
they ended up becoming like his manager or something. They worked on the promotion for the play, and he contacted me. My old boss contacted me when I was working at the licensing company in Chico, and he said that like, hey, we want you to put out the stuff. And I was hoping that we would just get like the rights to make like a Pee-wee's Playhouse shirt so we could sell it to other
yeah.
actors and just kill on it. And then he sent me the art, and it was horrible. It was like one of the guys from like Miami Ink did it.
Oh,
And
geez.
I'm like, what the fuck is I was like, I didn't say it. I was like, sucks,
Yeah.
dude. That's not Pee Wee Herman. Like, what the fuck are you doing? If I worked, oh my God, if I worked for them, I would have been like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? This is not Pee Wee. This Miami Ink shit.
Yeah.
It's not Pee Wee. Oh, Pee
Wow.
Wee. Remember that the magician in the first movie goes,
Yeah.
oh, Pee Wee. But it was working on the play. And I remember he told me that one of his jobs was to also get him a dude after each play.
Oh, jeez, that's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah. And I was like, I wasn't shocked to hear that, but
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of funny. Um,
Wow.
it'd be kind of funny though, he got thrown on like the sex offender list, which I think is totally unfair. Just
Mhm.
shit. If he dressed up as Pee-wee and went door to door to tell everybody in the neighborhood, like he had to
Right.
like introduce himself, but he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it as Pee-wee.
Yeah, that'd be good.
You guys heard any good jokes?
Well,
You're
it,
probably
it
wondering why I'm here right now. I
I
know you
would
wonder what am I?
I would say it's definitely a show worth watching. It's only two episodes, about it's like watching two movies. It goes by quickly. Um, I liked it. It was real sad. I remember seeing Pee-wee's HBO show back in the day, and like I said, it just really changed my idea of like what was funny, what was cool, what could be
Did you
funny, you know.
did you watch that last movie he did that was on Netflix?
Which I don't
They
think so.
showed it in the last episode. I forgot. It came out in like 2016 or whatever.
Oh, okay.
It was
Yeah, I
like
was thinking it was
Pee-wee's
more
Advent.
recent.
It was like okay. It felt like a TV movie, really.
Yeah,
Like it didn't feel super like there were some parts that were good, but it just didn't feel like a cinematic. And
right.
it like if they were gonna really do it, they should have gotten Tim Burton back. If they were gonna try to recapture
Some of the magic.
essence of
Yeah,
the first one, and like you could tell it was there, but wasn't 100% there.
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
okay. It was. I watched it. I never watched it again. Uh,
Yeah, I
I just
remember reading about it a lot. Pee-wee's Big Holiday. Uh, yeah, a lot of people, the way I heard it described most was straight to video. Like like when you
it
think
felt
of,
like a TV movie, not like
yeah,
Monsters bad. It just didn't.
right, right.
Just wasn't. I mean, it was cool. It was cool. He did it. Everybody wanted it. Like they were asking for years to make another one, and
Yeah,
trying to think. I can't even think about it. I was just. Yeah, it was okay.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it just sucks. I mean, I wish things had turned out differently.
I
So,
mean, I just think that that shit was him, them going through all this stuff and just being completely exposed. And I guess that was like around the time when he was starting to like Paul Rubin was the person now, not Pee
right.
Wee. Pee Wee was just a character he played, and now Paul Rubin is the one getting roles and being in things,
Yeah,
getting parts, and then this shit happens, and it's like, and it sucks because it's like once that happens, you're fucked. Doesn't
yeah,
even matter. There's always people who are gonna think you're a fucking
yeah.
it doesn't matter. Like
Uh,
so the yeah, it was good. I'd say it's worth watching. It's sad. Um it's interesting. It's
mhm.
interesting. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of interesting, Ukraine drone strike. So supposedly
Yeah,
Ukraine spent $20 on a
yeah,
shitty, this is what I heard supposedly. The Ukraine spent 20 to 30 bucks on a shitty drone they got at a Five Below,
right.
sent it over and destroyed 40% of the Russian military budget or something.
Yeah,
Am I getting this right?
you're not too far off from what I understand. The weird thing is, from what I understand, this was like a year in the making, and they probably started making this plan once it was clear that Trump and Biden or Harris were going to be neck and neck, and they're like, we got to come up with something. So from what I understand, they spent about $20,000 on these drones with missiles and shit like that, and they loaded them up into these trucks, and then they drove the trucks into Russia and parked the trucks right next to these Air Force bases. And then all at once, they gave a signal. The tops popped off these boxes. These drones went up in the air, and they fucking knocked out like $40 billion worth of Russian aircraft. I mean, like, and there's like video of it, and it's like undeniable. And it was great.
Zelensky should be like this to JD Vance. Did you say thank you?
Yeah. What just like fucking that's he they and I read one article where they said that Zelensky knew he was planning all this shit as he sat there in that meeting with those two fucking idiots,
Well, you
you
know what
know?
he was dealing with. He knew when Trump was in 2016 what was going
Yeah.
on. That Trump, I'm sick of this fucking gaslighting. Trump is a goddamn agent of Russia.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
accept it already. It's
but
a
the
fucking
yeah,
gaslighting. And
yeah. Well, yeah,
Musk does it. It pisses me off.
but the big thing here is that like a lot of people are saying that this is a big deal just because like there's no reason why anyone can't do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not crazy that you
Did
would
you
do this.
did you hear Trump supposedly saying like, oh, he spoke to Putin and Putin's gonna do something big? And it's like, dude, what
Was going to
side are you?
reinvade them. I mean, like Russia invaded Ukraine, bombs civilian centers, bombs hospitals, bombs nuclear power plants. What else are they going to do? You know, what I mean, like it's like if you we're going to start killing you, and if you fight back, we're going to kill more of you. Like who cares? They're I don't know. It's a weird thing, I mean, to penalize Ukraine for fighting back, but I don't know. I mean, this is a big deal, and it's surprising that it hasn't been done before. Like I see drones around all the time, you know,
I mean,
tape a hand grenade to one or something. I mean, it's just like
isn't like the whole joke anyway is like, these like dipshits who are like, we're gonna start a militia and we're gonna take down the US government. It's like, get the US government probably like We'll just send like 3 drones and just blow the shit out of your
Yeah.
compound. They don't even need to send people in anymore. Like they
No.
don't have to
Well,
even do a fucking David Koresh. They could literally just send a couple of drones and nuke a fucking compound.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know. It was a crazy story. It's a great story in the sense that like you root for the or if you're a decent person, you root for the Ukraine. You hope that they can
Well,
repel
I
these
always say
invaders.
that there is like this thing, and I can see people can make a point. Like you can't support the Ukraine and then also not support the Palestinian people.
Right. Yeah. They're linked.
And
Um
a lot of people, unfortunately, don't. You know,
that's why you see a lot of Irish musicians or bands will come out in support of Palestine and Ukraine and stuff like that. I saw Fontaine's a couple months ago, and they had a Palestinian flag on the stage and whatnot. I
well,
mean, like,
I always say like people are like, oh, you can't support the Ukraine if you believe in peace. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
yeah,
We were invaded.
yeah. No, it's fair to say that maybe the Ukraine had some problems too, but like, this was pretty cut and dried. Russia invaded them, started killing people. That's
Yeah,
that's
they're the aggressor.
yeah.
Oh, they
So
don't come together and negotiate. What's to negotiate? How do you negotiate with a
yeah,
terrorist who wants to kill, who wants to take things from you and has already shown violence and is willing to kill their own people to take you? It's and then use you as a stepping stone to go into Poland or whatever next and go into
you
like it.
would think that Russia would have learned their lesson in Afghanistan.
Yeah, but
Um,
I think they have their president in the White House
yeah,
and they feel emboldened and this shit, all this shit happened under Biden. It was all on purpose.
yeah,
Israel thing, that shit was on purpose. That shit happened. That
yeah,
shit, it was all to make Biden look weak. Everything. Put him in a weird precarious position
yeah.
where you can't win the left because of genocide, but he can't ignore Israel because it's fucking it's technically the 51st state of this country. I always get annoyed by people. Like Israel, what they're doing is horrible, but really what you should be saying is United States and Israel should be. Israel's not operating on their own.
No,
This is
no,
part of the United States' interest, and I wish people would like understand that. It's like we're not far from doing shit like that. We did that in Iraq. Like
yeah.
we bombed the shit out of people for decades. We're just
Well,
using Israel to bomb the shit out of people. I mean, like,
yeah, I don't know. I do know though that if you get to a point where you can like fight wars or repel wars or whatnot with drone forces, then you don't need a lot of people and you don't need a lot of money, you know?
yeah, I mean, it's clearly a lot cheaper to fly a couple
Yeah.
fucking planes with some
You
missiles and
just you could probably get a couple
all out
teenagers.
tanks and like,
Yeah. So,
is Trump
um,
getting the tanks? Is Trump getting his fucking military parade? Is that nonsense still happening?
I believe so, yeah.
When is that?
Uh,
Like Flag Day or something?
it is, yeah, it's
That's so gross. That's
yeah.
gonna be such a gross, like,
I'm surprised there aren't protests.
oh, there will be. I'll probably find out they got killed.
Yeah.
Army Trump
Um,
love a $40 million parade, but nothing is planned for Navy and Marines.
mm.
I don't like the Navy, they're a little gay.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I
45 million up to 16 million in damages.
yeah. They
That's
said
what,
it's gonna fuck up the roads real bad.
yeah, they said that from the beginning when he wanted to have this parade back in DC, back when he
Yeah,
was president the first time. And I remember the first thing I said is like the tanks are gonna fuck up the roads. Like
yeah.
they're treads. They're not the roads are not designed for tanks to fucking
If you're driving a tank through something, you're not worried about what it does to what it's driving through.
right.
It's a machine designed to like blow shit up.
Yeah,
Um,
it's not a fucking vehicle for
right.
transport. It's a vehicle to, like you just said, blow
Yeah.
shit up
It's
and
just weird,
intimidate.
like any like this is the hallmark of an authoritarian regime is these
He
military
wants
parades. It's like a joke.
he wants like to be Kim Jong Un.
Yeah.
He wants to be fucking Gaddafi.
I wonder I wonder if people will attend it, like how very few people attended his inauguration. I wonder if people will attend this. I'm sure
Remember,
like
his
some,
inauguration was done inside. Didn't even do it
yeah.
outside. So it was like hardly anybody there, and the supporters weren't even allowed in the fucking building, which was ironic because of January 6th.
I think with the army stuff, he can like order, like a lot of troops will be ordered to attend, or I don't know. I mean, they could probably fill the stands.
It's just fucking
Um,
bullshit. It's disgusting. This country's falling to pieces, and we got this fucking joke, this moldy pumpkin head, like just
yeah.
and like the shittiest people out there are like,
Well,
you don't like it, leave it. You know,
that's the bulk of what we were going to talk about, towards the end is that Elon Musk is this terrible person,
yeah,
and he was put in charge of so much, and he brought in even more terrible people,
yeah, bunch of little
and
kids with no empathy. Empathy.
little, yeah. Um, and it's really been disastrous, and Elon Musk, we saw him like the other day, he's like all drugged out, black eye, just like talking about, chopping up government and stuff. I mean, it's just grotesque, it really is. I mean, like these are real bad things are going to happen because of this. Um, and Now Elon, I guess Musk isn't happy with what he's done, so now he's like trying to start a battle with Trump against the budget. Most people are saying it's because Trump cut a lot of electric vehicle funding, which Musk relies on. Um, it's just, I don't know, it's just such bad actors, you know.
It's
Uh,
fucking gross, man. But yeah, Elon Musk was high as a fucking kite. See
yep,
those videos of him going, "Ah, fire," and
yeah,
holding a fucking chainsaw with that weird little ghoul from
yep,
uh Argentina. Look at Argentina. Suppose Argentina is like a shithole. Like it's like
oh yeah,
that guy like sunk the economy and they don't give a fuck. It's like a joke. These fucking people, man. And Elon giving fucking Sikh Hiles. I
yeah.
don't care. I'm not. The drugs are not the reason, are not at fault there. I mean, what the fuck? That shit was in there. But
Drugs aren't the thing. It's the idea that like nothing is disqualifying anymore.
no, not for these people. It's
I
only
mean, like,
for you and me, but not for them. It's like the same thing with like
yeah,
Texas putting in that bullshit THC thing. That's not gonna affect people like Joe Rogan.
yeah, like Texas will outlaw recreational or medicinal THC or CBD, but they will give Elon Musk millions in tax credits to come here and smoke marijuana. I
Yeah,
mean, it's
and
just
like
a
all the other drugs he's doing.
yeah, marijuana is probably the least of them,
Yeah,
but
exactly. If
but
anything
there is
eases him. I mean, he's.
well,
Well, I want to say this last thing. I mean, well, what were you gonna say?
yeah, no, good.
No, what were you gonna say?
I was going to say that he is emblematic of like the shitty people that were brought in. I
Yeah.
was going to talk about the FEMA guy in a second, but
Okay. Well, I wanted to say that the United States, since like Reagan, there's been a war on drugs, basically pushed by the Republican Party, and I think they finally won the war on drugs because Elon Musk using drugs as officially made drugs fucking
yeah,
lame.
right,
Like I have no interest in taking drugs, and when I see a guy like that, I'm like, this is cringe. Drugs are
yeah.
cringe. That's gonna be a good
Well,
ad campaign
yeah,
to
right,
stop people from doing drugs. It'll be the most effective one. And they just show videos of like Elon doing weird shit and like sounding weird and looking like a like this is you could be this.
yeah. I don't know why the Democrats aren't running ads year
Are they?
round.
I mean, I don't know if they are or they aren't. I have no
Just
idea.
generic ads. They don't even have to be for or against.
Who the fuck
Just be
knows what's
against
going on? I have
Republicans.
no faith in anything anymore. I really
Yeah,
don't. I really hate that whole conspiracy of like, oh, no, I'm not saying the parties are the same, but I think there's a good portion of the Democratic Party that plays cover for shit or doesn't fight.
yeah.
They're not really. It's performative. They do. Like the fucking Booker, was his name? No. Who was the guy that did like the 24-hour thing and like broke a
Cory
record?
Booker.
Yeah, it wasn't for anything specific though, so it was
Oh,
just like
just
a
stupid.
stunt. And then he voted
Yeah,
for like some shitty judge. He was like one of the only Dems, and it's like, what are you doing?
yeah,
You should be a fucking firebrand fucking Democrat. You should be like, I ain't voting for fucking shit.
yeah.
I don't even care if he's promising lemonade to kids. I am
Right.
Or
Yeah, that's honestly that's the only course of action I respect. I will not
when
vote
they
for
say
shit.
we don't give a fuck. If he doesn't have the numbers, he's not getting what he wants. We're not gonna vote. Fuck it. You want a budget? You're not gonna
Yeah.
strip everything, then come to us because you know
I
that
s-
half your chud base isn't gonna vote.
yeah, I saw a hearing the other day, and I want to get the person. I think it was Maxine Waters from Michigan, I think. They need certain committees need unanimous consent to just even have a meeting. They need everyone to agree, like we're going to have a meeting, and it's
Yeah.
usually real perfunctory. And the Republicans like gaveling the meeting to order, and Maxine Waters is like, "You need unanimous consent to start this meeting," and I don't give it. And they look puzzled. They're like, "What? Why?" And she's like, "I don't give it." And they're like, "Well, we've always worked together to blah blah blah." She's like, "I'm not giving consent," and that was it. It was like it was really
Yeah.
frustrating to them
I just
because
don't think that the media is going to give that attention. I'm sorry. I think the
yeah,
media
I
gives.
agree. I agree.
I think after seeing what they did with like World One, the Gulf War, in
Yeah,
2003, and leading up to it, and just going along with everything Bush administration pushed, but also pushing the Tea Party. All the networks did it. There was that.
yeah,
That was a totally astroturf thing. There was no actual Tea Party people there.
right. Yeah,
I mean, there were eventually, but
it
it
was
was
like it was all plants.
yeah, it was all
You're right.
fucking.
It
But it
became
always
something.
is. It always is, and the media pushes it. That's why I said like when you said, "Oh, we need this like Democrat to run now" or something. I'm like, the media is not going to give that Democrat attention. They'll only give the Democrat real attention if that Democrat's like, "I support Trump. The rest of my party hates me."
Yeah.
Give that fucking person like endless interviews of
Well,
being
yeah.
canceled.
I don't know. I do.
I just think like I don't know. I'm pessimistic with all this stuff. I just don't.
Yeah.
I think we're fucked. I do. I think that like I don't think we're going to get an actual progressive leader ever at this point. Even if we get a Democrat back in the office, it's not going to be a one we really want.
I don't know. I mean, I'm like, I agree. I don't think it's likely, but I don't think
And
it's
it's
out of
like,
the question.
what's going to be the excuse? If like nothing, let's say gets done, or if it does, it's just like, oh, they have to fix everything Trump did. And it's
Yeah,
like we're not you fucking janitor assholes. Like
right.
fucking make them clean it up and do all the
Yeah,
fucking jobs that you promised, and that while you get those fuckers to clean up their mess.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I do know. I know we talked a little about Elon. The thing that really struck me the most was the FEMA chief, the person Trump put in charge of FEMA.
He
His name
doesn't know
is
what a hurricane is.
he didn't know that there was such a thing as hurricane season. This is David Richardson. He was the assistant secretary for Department of Homeland Security, and now he's in charge of FEMA. Um, he was a Marine Corps officer that taught that did artillery, and I guess he taught at like a U.S. Army college. Um, I don't know. I mean that he doesn't seem like a dumb guy. He has a bachelor's degree in biology. Uh but he didn't know there was such a thing as a hurricane season, which to me suggests just being out of touch, you know? And to like so casually admit that you didn't know there was a hurricane season, to me it feels like you've never ever had to work for anything.
I think the
Like,
guy, first of all, the guy looks like an AI prompt of
yeah,
RFK.
yeah. He
And
looks
if
like a
somebody said,
Simpsons.
"Make me RFK," and the AI was like, "Here."
Yeah, he looks like if they did a live action Simpsons, he'd be like Mr. Skinner. Is kind of what he looks like to me.
Yeah,
Um,
it does look a little Skinnerish, or as
yeah,
people may know him as Tazarian or whatever.
yeah,
That I think we talked about the theory about the Simpsons.
yeah,
That's the episode where it jumped the shark is the
yeah,
Tazarian one or whatever. We find out Skinner was never Skinner the whole time. Want to
yeah.
hear something funny though?
Huh.
You ever watch Mad Men?
Yeah.
They stole the plot of that Simpsons episode. Don Draper.
Oh yeah.
Find
Because of
out,
Korean. Yeah.
he
That's
takes on
funny.
the identity of somebody else after
For
Korea.
who was in the Korean War, yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And Don Draper was not his name growing up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. No, I remember that. I always thought that was kind of a weird I hadn't put that together with the Simpsons thing,
I
but
just put
yeah,
it together now. I just thought about it just now.
that's funny.
I was like,
Um,
wait, that's the same. Except I know the Simpsons one came out way earlier than the Mad Men.
yeah. Well, I know that if I'm in any situation, someone says, like, let's say I got a job, uh, running a grocery store or whatever, and someone says, well, clearly, like the lead up to the holidays, but give some technical term, I'm not going to reveal that I don't know what they're talking about, because I know I have to like be careful and I need to prove I'm qualified for the job and I need to, I know that I'm encountering a test of sorts. Um, but this guy just like fucking whole ass says, I never even heard of a hurricane season. Like,
That's first of all, then that guy has no business being in that job.
and it seems to me like no one's ever credibly challenged him on it. He probably just like,
But
uh,
it should just be like disqualifying. Like,
yeah,
okay,
it
you're
should
not
be.
you're gone. Bye bye. Like everybody gave that Browning guy shit, and he deserved it.
Yeah.
The heck of a good
Scott
job guy.
Browning, yeah.
Yeah, but like this guy is like sounds like a complete fucking
How would
bimbo.
you not know that? Or how would you not know enough to fake knowing it? Like, if someone,
Is he
I,
in it? Is he the FEMA director, or is he
yeah,
nominated to be it?
he's the FEMA director.
That guy should be ousted like now. How do you
Yeah.
not like that should be even if you let's say you didn't know when the hurricane season started, as the head of FEMA, you should be fully aware this
None
year.
of these people, that Betsy DeVos doesn't know anything about education,
What
didn't know anything
fucking
about
Linda
education.
McMahon. Did you
The
see
wrestling lady doesn't know anything about
did you see that
education.
video of her? She came to Massapequa.
Yeah,
She came to Massapequa for the most important thing ever, the education secretary of the country, Linda McMahon. The
yeah,
wrestler. She went to a thing that had to do with, oh, she went to Massapequa. I don't think it was Plain Edge, it was Massapequa, the other school where Jerry Seinfeld came from. And her whole main concern was because they want to get rid of the Native American names and the mascots.
yeah,
And she's there to like fight it or something. And it's like, this is important. This is not like, this is not your job. This is so stupid. What are you doing?
yeah. It's
Like,
just, it's grotesque. And
culture
then
war bullshit.
RFK completely in over his head at the Department of Health and Human Services, just generating like AI nonsense to support his weirdo theories, like made up citations, made up papers, just random nonsense. It is literally the dumbest group of people ever. I
The
mean, they're just
fucking
like
grifter,
dumb.
dude.
They're
He's a
so
lying
dumb.
grif. He's a
Yeah.
scumbag. It's disgusting. I never understood it.
Wow. I don't
I
know.
will say, there's something I was thinking of in the, I don't know, just forgot it. I think it might have had something to do with RFK, but um, he's fucking gross. I don't
Yeah.
know what else to say. I mean, the fact when I knew he was gonna end up once Trump won, I was like, oh, this fucker's gonna be the human health
Yeah.
secretary.
Yeah.
You have like idiots like Joe Rogan, like he's really smart. Is he? No, he really isn't. Like
No.
he's not smart at all. He's a fucking conspiracy peddler with a famous last name.
Yeah. I don't know. It is depressing. I know that like all of this, I mean these are all like legitimately dumb people in charge of really big things. And then they're shutting down colleges and they're expelling for like honestly that's been for years what has made America great is that the smartest people from all over the world would come here study and we would reap the rewards of their intellect, you know? And now foreign students can't come here anymore. And China's saying, "We'll give you come here
Yeah, I
for
heard that there's
free."
like gonna be a massive brain drain here.
Yeah,
Like China's just gonna. Yeah, that was the thing too. I think I'm trying to think if I saw it on the Daily Show or what I was watching with thing with Linda McMahon, and it's like, yeah, they think they made a joke. They're like, China already has like 2 million doctors and coders, and the
yeah,
amount of time that Linda McMahon wasted on some culture war bullshit about like the importance of having a stereotype of a Native
Yeah,
American for it's fucking deranged, man.
it is. It is. Um, and I guess that can kind of lead up to that last thing, which I think kind of sums up the current crop of Republicans in general. That Joni Ernst, she
So
was
gross.
getting hammered at a town hall, and she said basically like, "Don't worry about healthcare. We're all going to die anyway."
Yeah. I was like
Yeah,
healthcare advocates and stuff, and she's like, "We're all gonna die anyway"
yeah.
or something. It's like really insensitive. But then like
She
her
doubled down
fucking
on it.
yeah,
Yeah,
her fucking apology video was worse.
yeah. Well, I think she got a lot of bad flack from it, and someone said like, "Oh, you should run with this," you know, a GOP influencer probably. And she made an apology video and put an apology in air quotes. And at the end, she said something like, "Well, I'm also apologize if you find out about the tooth fairy or something."
Yeah, it's
Uh,
so patronizing bullshit. Real nasty. Just
it is. I mean, the
like high
people
school
die.
shit. Yeah,
People are
like this woman
dying.
has
You
no
know.
business being in this position.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I mean, it's the idea, and then she made the follow-up video, kind of doubling down on it.
Fucks, man. They
Um,
think they're like mini Trumps or something. And it's like, dude, no one likes you
well,
actually.
I
You
think I think it was easy to joke about that stuff when the system was still working, you know. But like, if a veteran tries to get health care and can't, and then kills himself, fewer people are going to laugh, you know. Um, I've seen some of these videos of like families getting torn apart by these masked ICE agents or whatever. And I know there's still some like MAGA chuckleheads that are jerking off to it, but like I think a lot of people are like, what the fuck is going on here? You know, what happened? You know, maybe they're starting to wake up to it. I would be surprised if Joni Ernst lost her next election. I'd be surprised. I think she'll
what state
win
is she in? Iowa?
Iowa.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I really I would not count on that. I don't count on anything anymore.
No, I'm saying I would be surprised. I don't know if I said it right. I would be surprised if she lost. Like
Oh
I think
yeah,
she will
yeah.
win.
Oh no,
Um,
she's a total scuzzball. Like they're gonna vote for her because she's playing into
but
right-wing grievances and shit.
but maybe not. I mean, Iowa's weird. Like there's a lot of farms there, and farms rely on migrants to work them, and they don't do well with tariffs. I mean, it's possible that I don't know. Anything's possible.
Yeah.
Democrat won in Alabama one year, you know. So
Well, that was a heavily televised, and we lost Al Franken because of it.
I'm just saying.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know it could happen, but I just think that like
I
don't
agree. It
count it.
probably won't.
You
Yeah,
know, like I thought Boebert was gonna lose like the
yeah,
primary, and then she just
yeah.
got posted right in. She
Oh
beat
well,
him off. She beat
she
off
beat him off.
all. She beat
I
off
had to beat off four guys to get
that
here.
ran for that primary.
That would have been the joke.
What?
I had to beat off four guys to run in the.
Yeah, Lauren Boebert said she had to beat off four guys to run for Congress to get the Republican nomination. She beat off four
Yeah.
guys.
Well, yeah. Um, yeah. Well, it is a depressing note to end on, but
Yeah.
it's the note we got.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. I mean, what do we got next week for like entertainment stuff? I mean,
I know the Bear comes out soon.
I don't think that's the
Um,
end of the month.
yeah. I know
Watch
Murderbot will
the
be.
Mountain Head. Watch the one with the
Yeah,
billion.
I'll watch that. I'll
Watch
watch
that one.
that.
That one's good. It goes by pretty quickly. I'm also watching Murderbot. I'm trying to think if there's like anything else. I feel like there's something. Maybe there's something on Netflix that hasn't premiered yet. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
I'll let you
When Squid Games come out, the new Squid
know.
Games.
Not till end of June, I
All
think.
right. All right. Yeah. Well, that's like
I
in a
watched
week or
that
two.
Totem thing or parts of it. That weird
Oh
Totem on
yeah.
Netflix. It's kind of corny. It's like D23 for Netflix.
Uh,
Um, whatever. I don't know.
yeah. Oh yeah.
They had like a
I'm
Squid
sure we'll
Games
text throughout
cast.
the week. I'm sure there's some good shows on and stuff.
They had the
So
cast of Squid Games come out, and they're all speaking in Korean. I think they dubbed them, except for the one guy who became a Jedi,
eh,
because he knows English a little better.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's-
He literally learned a language for that role. That means like they wanted him. They didn't. He probably didn't even.
Yeah.
If he tried out, it would have been in I guess Korean. I don't know what.
Yeah.
It's called Korean, right? The language.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a chance that yeah, he didn't know it. He's just read it.
Right. Huh. Yeah.
Here's an interesting thing. There's this guy, one of the comedians, and he's Spanish, and I feel like I don't know if he was born here or not, or whatever, but like English was not his first language. It's Spanish is his first language.
Right.
And he said something like his dreams are in Spanish, but like the other stuff isn't. I don't know. That's what that was kind of.
Oh, that is cool.
I mean, it makes sense if the language
Yeah.
you had as a baby,
Right.
it's like fully ingrained in your head. So of course
That's funny.
would like.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, think about that, Joseph. Let that sit on your mind.
I sure will. Yeah.
You're gonna be like, I don't even know the fucking world anymore.
Oh.
I woke up one day. All right. On that note, I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And you still going about
That.
Thank you for listening to You Still Going On About That. Please like, comment, share, and if you haven't done already, please follow us on Instagram, YSGOAT, Facebook, YSGOAT, and Twitter, YSGOAT. Thank you, and have a great day.